Chapter 1460. Dang. There was a sound that almost exploded everyone's eardrums. The ancient Tao waves of the chaos bell suddenly exploded. Terrifying killing intent rampaged in the trap-kill formation and clashed with the killing rays. At this moment, almost every corner was a land of death. Ning Cheng, who was suppressed by the chaos bell, instantly woke up. The chaos bell's Tao waves and the axe intent exploded. Ning Cheng immediately knew that the axe had attacked. His creation divine spear shot out without hesitation, and his entire body retreated like a bolt of lightning. Splurge. An almost imperceptible red ray sliced across Ning Cheng's waist. Blood mist exploded. If Ning Cheng was a little late, this red ray would definitely cut him in half. Under the axe and Ning Cheng's spear, the Chaos Tao Lord also spat out a mouthful of blood and retreated rapidly. The clothes covering Ning Cheng's chest had long since exploded due to the dense and majestic Tao charm within the primal chaos. Moreover, the Tao charm had torn open a few bloody wounds on his sturdy chest, revealing his bones. However, these were not the deepest ones. The deepest one was the sword light at his waist. This sword light had almost sliced Ning Cheng in half from the waist. Ning Cheng ate a few pills and stared coldly at Xingxi. Xingxi had launched a sneak attack on him. As expected, this woman had been watching him at all times. Kid, if it weren't for this Lord Axe helping you, you would have died. The indestructible axe, which had been blasted away by the primal chaos bell, somersaulted in the void and landed beside Ning Cheng. The next moment, Yimo's figure retreated. Yimo's Tao waves also collapsed and there were a few bloody wounds on his body. His injuries weren't as heavy as Ning Cheng's, but they weren't light either. We're no match for them if we fight head-on. Yimo's tone was calm. It seemed he was injured, but he didn't take it to heart. So strong. Qin Mutian stared at Yimo and murmured. Yimo's god art didn't completely freeze him, but it made him sweat cold. He was certain that if he was just a little bit weaker, even with the help of EG and the others, his body would collapse. Plus, those people who joined hands with him against Yimo were all on the same side as him. Many thanks. If it weren't for you, I would have truly been in danger a moment ago. Ning Cheng cautiously thanked the indestructible axe. The good fortune indestructible axe felt very proud of itself, as long as Ning Cheng thanked it. As for other people, it didn't care whether they thanked him or not. Ning Cheng had a fragment of it on him. If she asked Ning Cheng for the fragment, then she would see how he would refuse. As Ning Cheng spoke, he had already taken out array flags and was constantly throwing them out. Just like Ning Cheng, Yimo also grabbed a bunch of formation flags and threw them in another direction. Stop! Tao Lord Chaos suddenly shouted. At this moment, Ning Cheng and Yimo threw out the formation flags in their hands. The two didn't seem to hear the Chaos Tao Lord's words and detonated the trap-kill formation. In such a battle, the trap-kill formation could only help them. It was impossible for a hastily set-up trap-kill formation to pose a fatal threat to these powerful beings. They're going to detonate the confinement and killing array. Almost as soon as itinerant EG said this, the Taoist rhyme of the confinement and killing array became completely chaotic. A violent force that could tear apart the void spread out. At this moment, everyone in the entire confinement and killing array was enveloped by the explosive Taoist rhyme laws. Ning Cheng and Yimo immediately used a god art and escaped from the gap of the trap-kill formation. Even if it was a temporary trap-kill formation, with Ning Cheng and Yimo's means, ordinary people wouldn't be able to stop it if they detonated it. Plus, the instant the two left the trap-kill formation, they used a god art. A series of void cracks were blasted out by the self-destruction of the trap and killing array, and 7 or 8 battered figures rushed out from the explosion of the trap and killing array. The weaker ones were covered in blood when they charged out of the trap-kill formation. Their Tao waves were chaotic and their bodies were damaged. Even Tao Lord Chaos's clothes were in a mess, and he looked extremely wretched. Compared to the others, Tao Lord Chaos and Qin Mutian were in such a sorry state, but they were almost uninjured. On the other hand, Yimo left another sword mark on EG's chest. Although this mark was only on his chest and wasn't as big as the one between his eyebrows, it was still extremely embarrassing. After the explosion of the trap-kill formation, there were 3 sides in this chaotic void. One side was Yimo, Ning Cheng and Immortal Axe. One side was Chaos Tao Lord, Qinmutian, e.g., Xianhuangyan and them. The other side was Star Dao Lord and some people who didn't attack. Dao friends, your god powers are amazing, but even if we continue fighting like this, there won't be a result. How about we sit down and talk? Chaos Dao Lord acted as though he didn't attack and smiled at Ning Cheng and Yi Mo. No one objected. With Yi Mo and Ning Cheng's power, even if they couldn't win, they should be able to escape. Ning Cheng had the shard of Immortal Axe. If they wanted Immortal Axe to help, they had to negotiate with Ning Cheng. Yi was very unwilling. He was planning to kill Yi Mo in the chaos. However, Yi Mo was too strong. With Qinmutian, they could only injure Yi Mo. At the same time, he was injured again. Without power, he had no right to speak. Yi was heavily injured, so he had no right to speak. Chaos Dao Lord, these two are called Ning Cheng and Yi Mo. They snatched Sacred Master Golden Page's Golden Page World, and Sacred Master Mysterious Yellow's Mysterious Yellow Bead. By the way, Ning Cheng also snatched Five-Colored Dao Lord's Five-Colored Splitter Star. These two people are simply bandits. Xingxi felt very regretful. Her sword strike had been a little too late. If it had been a little faster, she would have cut Ning Cheng in half. As for why it was a bit slower, Xingxi knew very well. It was because after she was cut in half by Ning Cheng, her power dropped a level. If Chaos Dao Lord knew that Ning Cheng and Yi Mo had fortune treasures on them, he might be tempted and keep attacking. Chaos Dao Lord looked plainly at Xingxi and smiled but didn't say anything. Other people treasured fortune treasures, but Tai Yi didn't care about it. Of course, if he had the chance to get it, he wouldn't give it up. If they wanted him to be a spear, they were underestimating him a little too much. After Xingxi said that, she knew that she had been too impatient. Before Xingxi could explain, Ning Cheng said calmly, "My things are picked up. It's much better than some sword boys killing their master and stealing their master's things. A traitor who betrays his master dares to talk about the great Tao? How shameless." Ning Cheng's words were based on his speculation. The reason why he made such a guess was that he saw Xianhuangyan, Primal Chaos Dao Lord, Itinerant E.G., and even Five-Colored Dao Lord alive and well. Since Sacred Master Green Lotus was the owner of the Green Lotus of Good Fortune, there was no reason for her to be inferior to these guys. What was even more strange was that Sacred Leader Green Lotus had perished, but Sacred Leader Green Lotus Sword Boy was safe and sound. Not only was he safe, but he also became the new Green Lotus. Xingxi's face turned green with anger, and even her hands were shaking. In terms of background, she was indeed much worse than others as a sword boy. Which of the Sacred Lords and Dao Lords here didn't have illustrious backgrounds? "You're slandering me," Xingxi finally spat out. Ning Cheng smiled faintly. Just when he was about to speak, he heard an even calmer voice. "This Dao friend isn't completely slandering. Dao friend Green Lotus death is indeed strange." As he spoke, another figure appeared in front of everyone. "It's very lively. It's the first time I've seen such a lively scene in all these years. Sigh, it makes me miss it." After this person appeared, he seemed to be in awe again. "I was wondering who it was. So it's Dao Lord Karma." Chaos Dao Lord laughed and casually cupped his fists. There were clearly many people who knew Dao Lord Karma, and many people cupped their fists to greet him. Whether it was genuine or fake, at least it showed that Dao Lord Karma was no less famous than Chaos Dao Lord. Qinmutian's face was calm, but he was extremely shocked. There were too many powerful beings in the five-element universe, one after another. When the Gate of Fortune opened, could he really be the first? This thought disappeared in Qinmutian's mind. Then he stared at the Fortune Indestructible Axe. Regardless if he could be the first, he had to be the first to enter the Chaos Inner Realm. "Dao Lord Karma, you can't say things like that. Everyone clearly saw my master perish. That was the doing of Dao Lord Fate. In the future, when I Xingxi am successful in my Dao, I will definitely seek justice for my master." Xingxi stood up and said sternly. Her tone was filled with grief and dissatisfaction. Dao Lord Karma smiled. "Whether Green Lotus was killed by Dao Lord Fate or not, heaven and earth circulates. Karma is free to judge." After Ning Cheng heard those words, he immediately felt a strange Dao charm aura seeping into his body. Ning Cheng frowned, and the Dao charm around his body started to revolve, and the strange aura disappeared without a trace. Brother Yi, this person is a bit strange. Ning Cheng sound transmission to Yi Mo nodded. He also felt the strangeness of Dao Lord Karma just like Ning Cheng. How do I call you two Dao friends? Dao Lord Karma didn't seem to notice their discussion at all. Five-color Dao Lord said, the left is Yi Mo and the right is Ning Cheng. These two have quite a strong background. They took the golden page world and abstruse yellow bead. Of course, what makes me furious is that my five-color shatter star was also taken by this person. What do you think of their karma? Everyone knew what five-color Dao Lord meant. Everyone looked at Dao Lord Karma, wanting to know what he would say. Dao Lord Karma smiled as though he didn't understand what five-color Dao Lord meant. Treasures of the world belong to the fated. Then he suddenly looked at Ning Cheng and said, Dao friend seems to have gotten my karma heritage. Why don't you go cultivate? As soon as Dao Lord Karma said those words, Ning Cheng's heart skipped a beat. Chapter 1461. That kind of quivering feeling flashed through his mind, and Ning Cheng immediately felt a sense of luck in his heart. Fortunately, he did not cultivate a karma cultivation method. Since Dao Lord Karma threw out a karma cultivation method, it meant that the person who wanted to cultivate this cultivation method had a karma connection with him. As long as he didn't cultivate it himself, he would have a way to sever the karma of the people around him who cultivated the karma cultivation method. Dao Lord's plan is indeed profound. Although the karma cultivation method is good, I have too many good things and can't think of any. Ning Cheng smiled and said with a faint tone. Ning Cheng meant that although the karma cultivation method was good, it wasn't in his eyes yet. Dao Lord Karma chuckled and didn't care about Ning Cheng's words. He continued, since I'm here, I also want to drink a mouthful of soup. Dao friends, please forgive me. After saying this, Dao Lord Karma really stood to the side and stopped talking nonsense. The powerhouses who came here all wanted to drink a mouthful of soup. Not only that, but they also wanted to eat a few pieces of meat. No one cared about Dao Lord Karma's thoughts. Dao Lord Chaos cupped his fists again. Dao friends, what do you think of my opinion? Ning Cheng and Yi Mo glanced at each other before Ning Cheng nodded. Sure, but I need to ask Eternal Axe's opinion. With that, Ning Cheng raised his hand and grabbed a few fragments before throwing them towards the indestructible axe. At the same time he spoke. Many thanks for your help just now. Consider these fragments as a gift from me. After Ning Cheng threw out a few of the fragments of the indestructible axe, the axe intent surrounding the indestructible axe started to condense even more. Then an axe charm started to roll up, before swallowing up the fragments. In just half an incense stick of time, the Dao waves around Eternal Axe surged, and the axe intent became even more mellow, making it impossible to pry with spirit sense. The broken parts of the indestructible axe also disappeared. Clearly, Eternal Axe's power rose once again after completing its body. Haha, Dao Friend Ning is really loyal. Thank you, Dao Friend Ning. Eternal Axe's voice was still immature, but had a hint of arrogance. Ning Cheng smiled and didn't care. If Eternal Axe didn't help him, he would have used those fragments to force Eternal Axe to help him open the Chaos Inner Realm. Eternal Axe took the initiative to help him. Even if he wanted to open the Chaos Inner Realm, he would only discuss it with Eternal Axe. Fellow Daoist Ning, aren't your methods a bit lacking? Dao Lord's strength on seeing Ning Cheng hand over the indestructible axe fragment, without any conditions, spoke up in dissatisfaction. Ning Cheng showed a disdainful smile and spoke. What does it matter to you whether I am improper or not? I can do whatever I want with my things. Who are you to talk nonsense here? Dao Lord Strength had an ugly look on his face. He was a supreme Dao Lord after all. Ning Cheng was just a mere junior, yet he dared to say that he was a chatterbox. Xian Huangyan patted Dao Lord of Strength's shoulder in time. Brother Guy, you don't have to care about this junior. He thinks that he's nothing just because he comprehended 1 or 2 Dao runes. Haha, this kind of person can only look at the sky from the bottom of a well forever. Dao Lord of Strength didn't say anything else. He knew what Xian Huangyan meant. To deal with such an arrogant person like Ning Cheng, there was no need to be entangled for a while. Once he entered the chaotic inner world, he would eventually have a chance to deal with such people. After Ningcheng handed over the indestructible axe fragment, the attention of Dao Lord Chaos and the others fell on the indestructible axe. The reason why they looked at Ningcheng before was because Ningcheng could threaten the indestructible axe. Now that Ningcheng couldn't threaten the indestructible axe, how could Dao Lord Chaos care about Ningcheng? No matter how strong Ningcheng was, he was just a junior. How could they put such a junior with no background in their eyes? The indestructible axe wasn't a fool. Seeing so many experts blocking its way, it knew that it couldn't escape at all. Taking a step back, even if it could escape, these experts would eventually catch up with it, and eventually become a weapon in the hands of others. Seeing that the indestructible axe didn't escape immediately, Xian Huangyan took the initiative to step forward and said, Brother Pan was also the strongest expert in my five-element universe. Even if the Pan clan unfortunately fell, no one didn't admire you. Although you are a weapon of the Pan clan, you are also a part of my five-element universe. After witnessing Ningcheng's strength, Xian Huangyan knew that it wouldn't be easy to kill Ningcheng and take back the mysterious yellow bead without a greater opportunity. Therefore, he was the most eager person to open the Chaos Inner Realm and go in to snatch resources. If you have something to say, just say it. Indestructible Axe said impatiently. Seeing this, Dao Lord Chaos also said, Taoist Indestructible Axe, you can also feel that this is the Chaos Void. It turns out that after the Chaos Outer Realm shattered, the Chaos Inner Realm also has some clues. If we want to enter the Chaos Inner Realm, we have to break the void barrier between the Chaos Void and the Chaos Inner Realm. So you want Lord Axe to help, right? Although Dao Lord Chaos was very satisfied with calling him a Daoist, the indestructible axe still didn't fall for it. Dao Lord Chaos said seriously, That's right. Daoist Gaian also said that if we can enter the Chaos Inner Realm, our five-element universe's strength will take another step forward. You also know that the reason why Brother Pan didn't enter the Gate of Good Fortune back then, apart from the disorderly competition, was that we were still too weak. Indestructible Axe said disdainfully, Chaos knows your Chaos Bell is also a good thing. Why do you want me to help? Sorry, this kind of thing doesn't benefit me at all. Dao Lord Chaos didn't care about Indestructible Axe calling his nose. He smiled faintly. Taoist Indestructible Axe is a treasure for the creation of the universe. Naturally, you know that my Chaos Bell isn't as good as you in opening the Chaos Inner Realm. Moreover, this kind of thing isn't without any benefits for you. Once the Chaos Inner Realm opens, you can transform at any time. Transformation and artifact spirit were two different things. An artifact spirit was just the spirit of a treasure, while transformation was when the treasure had fully grown into a great Dao body. Even Indestructible Axe was tempted by such a thing. Indestructible Axe's heart moved, but he still replied, That's right. If you could do it, you would have done it a long time ago. Why would you ask Lord Axe for help? After Dao Lord Chaos finished speaking, he looked at Ningcheng. Obviously, he wanted to persuade Ningcheng. After all, Indestructible Axe and Ningcheng seemed to have a good relationship. Before Ningcheng could speak, Indestructible Axe said, Ningcheng, do you think Nose is right? Should I listen to him? Ningcheng knew that although Indestructible Axe asked him casually, Indestructible Axe already had an idea. However, he could use Indestructible Axe's problem to ask Dao Lord Chaos and the others a few questions. After gesturing for Indestructible Axe to wait, Ningcheng said to Dao Lord Chaos, Fellow Daoists, you have been in the Chaos Void for a long time. Naturally, you know more than the two of us. Although Dao Lord Chaos said that opening the Chaos Inner Realm would benefit everyone, including Daoist Indestructible Axe, it's just a rumor. But this is just a rumor. We don't know what the specific benefits are. If fellow Daoists really want to work together, then tell us the benefits of knowing about the Chaos Inner Realm. Then we can all work together. It seemed like Ningcheng was talking to Dao Lord Chaos alone. But in fact, Ningcheng's words included everyone. After Ningcheng asked this question, everyone fell silent. Not only did Ningcheng want to know about this, but many people who didn't know about it also wanted to know about it. Dao Lord Chaos remained silent for a moment before speaking. Dao Lord Karma knows more about this than I do. Dao Lord Karma smiled faintly when he saw this. I do know a little. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. After Tao Lord Karma said this, everyone held their breaths and listened attentively. With the good fortune indestructible axe here, it was very likely that the chaos inner realm could be opened. If they could find out what good things were in the chaos inner realm, they would at least have some confidence. Tao Lord Karma didn't seem to know everyone's eagerness and continued speaking unhurriedly. Rumor has it that when the chaos first split, the chaos inner realm was the center of the chaos void. When the chaos first split, laws were born and the universe was condensed. A Tao rune gave birth to spiritual wisdom. At first, that spiritual wisdom only wanted to see the vast and majestic universe. However, when it really felt that vastness, it suddenly felt something in its heart. It wanted to leave behind the essence of the chaos universe to prepare for its future achievements. Unfortunately, once the chaos universe was formed, it was too vast. Even that spiritual wisdom couldn't control it. In the end, that spiritual wisdom was annihilated in the chaos universe that had just split. The essence of the chaos universe that it left behind was condensed into the chaos inner realm. At this point, Tao Lord Karma smiled again. Has anyone heard of the Chaos 9 regions? Even Ning Cheng had heard of this matter. Therefore, when Tao Lord Karma mentioned the Chaos 9 regions, everyone expressed that they knew about it. Tao Lord Karma then said, actually the Chaos Inner Realm isn't the Chaos 9 regions. It's the 9 primordial Tao runes. Every person who obtains the primordial Tao runes will not only have their great Tao perfected and unobstructed, but they will also have a 100% chance of stepping into the creation great Tao. Moreover, there will be no Tao obstructions when entering the creation gate. Unfortunately, I found out about this a little too late. When my body shattered and I came to the chaos void, I slowly realized these principles. Even though everyone here was a top-notch expert, they subconsciously clenched their fists after hearing Tao Lord Karma's words. They were all wondering what would happen if they obtained that primordial Tao rune. Primordial chaos purple chi? Yi Mo and Ning Qing thought of this at the same time. The two looked at each other again. Although they didn't talk, that extreme confusion could no longer be erased. However, they weren't familiar with Tao Lord Karma, so they couldn't ask where he came from or if he had heard of primordial chaos purple chi, or the difference between primordial chaos Tao runes and primordial chaos purple chi. Tao Lord Karma said, I believe everyone knows how powerful the chaos chi in the chaos edges is, right? Because those chaos edges are the closest to the primordial chaos Tao runes, we can feel this power. Everyone fell silent, and no one spoke anymore. I agree, but I have one condition. Just when everyone was still in shock or contemplation, the fortune indestructible axe's voice broke the silence. Chapter 1462. What conditions? Even Tao Lord Chaos could not help but ask. Immortal Axe had an absolute advantage here, because it was necessary to open up the Chaos Inner Realm. If it was just Immortal Axe, they wouldn't care. No matter how strong Immortal Axe was, it wouldn't be able to escape with so many masters here. The key was that Ning Cheng and Yi Mo were helping Immortal Axe. Even though Ning Cheng and Yi Mo combined weren't a match for them, it was enough to help Immortal Axe escape. Immortal Axe laughed. I can break open the Chaos Inner Realm, and I'm willing to do my best. But not now. I have to wait for someone to come. Wait for who? Qin Mutian asked. Immortal Axe snorted. What does it have to do with you? Even if you were from the 5 Elements universe, I wouldn't know who you are, much less if you were from the 5 Elements universe. Qin Mutian's face was calm and didn't change because of Immortal Axe's mockery. Instead, Tao Lord Strength said, This concerns everyone. If you wait here for tens of thousands of years, will we wait with you? Immortal Axe said arrogantly, You're right. I'm going to wait tens of thousands of years. Guy, when my master dominated the universe, you were nothing. Now you dare to point fingers at me. If you don't have time, leave. No one will care about you staying here. Chaos Tao Lord stopped Tao Lord Strength and saluted with his fist to Immortal Axe. Tao friend Immortal Axe, everyone knows your origin. Although Tao Lord Strength's words are a bit harsh, it makes sense. Therefore, I would like to ask fellow Taoist Indestructible Axe to tell me who you are waiting for, and how long you are waiting for. The Indestructible Axe was still very wary of Tao Lords of Chaos. Putting everything else aside, the Chaos Bell of Dao Lord Chaos was in no way inferior to his indestructible axe. A descendant of the Pan clan. Back then, the Pan clan brought me to dominate the universe. Although I can't continue to be the Pan clan's magic treasure, I have to leave something for the Pan clan's descendants. Immortal Axe said with a slightly sad tone. Everyone understood what the indestructible axe meant. The indestructible axe was about to transform. Once it became a body of the Great Path, unless the Pan clan was reborn, no one would be able to control the indestructible axe as their own treasure. Immortal Axe meant that since he opened up the Chaos Inner Realm, he would leave some benefits for the Pan clan's descendants. This was equivalent to repaying a debt of gratitude to his deceased master. Fellow Taoist Indestructible Axe, who is that descendant of the Pan clan? Ningcheng suddenly thought of Pan Qian. But with Pan Qian's strength, if he wanted to come to the chaotic inner worlds, he felt that he still had a long way to go. The indestructible axe felt very grateful to Ningcheng. Therefore, when Ningcheng asked it, it replied without hesitation, "I don't know what that kid's name is. I only know that he took a little girl and ran around in the void like a headless fly. If I hadn't given him some direction, he might never have found the Chaos Realm." While speaking, the indestructible axe drew out an axe charm, which then transformed into a void image. Ningcheng understood at a glance that the indestructible axe referred to Pan Qian, and Shen Mengyan standing next to Pan Qian. Seeing Pan Qian and Shen Mengyan, Ningcheng couldn't help but sigh. He did not expect that the two of them had been wandering in the void for tens of thousands of years. It was clear how much hardship they had experienced. Thinking of Shen Mengyan, Ningcheng immediately thought of Yu Qing. Ningcheng's gaze fell on Xingxi. He didn't know if Xingxi did anything to Jiangsha City after he left. If anything happened to Yu Qing again, he would crush Xingxi's soul into nothingness even if he had to go to heaven or hell. Looking at their cultivation bases, I'm afraid they wouldn't be able to reach here even after tens of thousands of years. In that case, let's just send someone to bring him here. Xian Huangyan's eyes fell on the image drawn by the indestructible axe and spoke in a dissatisfied tone. As I said, if you're willing to wait, then wait. If you're unwilling, then I won't force you. If Master Axe is unwilling to do something, even if all of you come at him together, Master Axe will still not be willing to do it. At worst, we'll just break up and Master Axe will return to the primal chaos. Indestructible Axe did not take Xian Huangyan's words to heart. Dao Monarch Karma laughed heartily. We'll do as Taoist Undying Axe says. Those who are willing to wait can stay by his side. Those who aren't are free to leave. Everyone understood the meaning of the indestructible axe. If the descendants of the Pan clan did not have the ability to reach here, then they were not worthy of the fortune that the indestructible axe had sent out of the primal chaos inner realm. Pan Qian had once saved Ningcheng's life, and was also a friend of Ningcheng. As such, Ningcheng was naturally willing. Moreover, Ningcheng wanted to leave the primal chaos inner realm during this period. Without waiting for others to express their stance, Ningcheng took the initiative to speak up. I'm willing to wait. In that case, let's go to the chaotic corner and wait. Although tens of thousands of years might pass by in a flash for us, we can't waste it. Itinerant EG followed up. Everyone understood Itinerant EG's meaning. As one of the 5 sacred masters, Itinerant EG's strength had fallen the most. Perhaps even 5 colored Dao monarchs could easily kill Itinerant EG. Itinerant EG's proposal was to use the chaotic corner to quickly restore his strength. Despite this, no one felt that Itinerant EG's opinion was inappropriate. Ningcheng did not take everyone to the chaotic corner where he was. Instead, Xian Huangyan took the initiative to invite everyone to the chaotic corner he had discovered. The chaotic corner that Xian Huangyan had discovered was even larger than the chaotic corner where Ningcheng was previously. It also had a much richer primal chaos aura. Most likely, it was because of some cracks in the area. As the group of more than 20 people entered, each of them immediately found the best position to enter. They needed to wait for more than a day or two. In such a suitable place for cultivation, everyone wanted to improve their strength before entering the chaotic inner realm. Ningcheng and Yi Mo found a place to sit down in the corner. In this place with many strong people, They naturally had to be on guard. Xingxi, when you went to Jiangsha City, Ningqing didn't cultivate. He kept staring at Xingxi. When Xingxi heard Ningqing mention Jiangsha City, she immediately knew what Ningqing meant. She sneered in disdain, Jiangsha City. I destroyed that planet with a raise of my hand. By the way, there was a woman called Yu Qing. She looked pretty good. I brought her back to be fertilizer for the flowers. Ningqing's anger surged. Before Xingxi finished speaking, he raised his hand and blasted out with a finger. Boom. Ningqing's law-breaking finger blasted onto the blue lotus flower, causing endless explosive Dao runes. No matter how stable the chaotic corner's space was, it kept shaking under this explosion of Dao runes. Primal Chaos Dao Lord snorted. Dao friend Ningqing, you're very strong. There's no need to try anymore. Everyone is doing business now. If you want to fight, don't blame me. Ningqing took a deep breath and looked coldly at Xingxi. He didn't attack again. He was still a bit weaker than Primal Chaos Dao Lord. If he told Xingxi to go out and fight, he was sure that she wouldn't leave. Ningqing saluted with his fists to Yimo. Brother Yi, I want to leave this place. Do you have a location jade slip? Yimo dazed. He really didn't have a location jade slip. Ever since he entered the chaotic void, he had been cultivating here until he reached the third step. It's not that troublesome. If you want to go out, I'll help you hack with my axe, Immortal Axe said. Ningqing said speechlessly. If you want to tear open the void here, I have some ways. But where would you appear after tearing open the void? The chaotic void was so vast. If he tore open the void and appeared in a completely unfamiliar place, it would be hard to come back. I do have a locational jade slip. If Daoist Ning trusts me, I can give it to you. Dao Lord Chaos didn't seem to care that they had fought before. He smiled at Ningqing. Just when Ningqing wanted to speak, Yimo suddenly said, Brother Ning, if it's not urgent, I suggest you don't leave here. Is Dao friend Yi scared of being alone? E.g. sneered. Yimo laughed. I Yimo have never known what fear is. So what if you're 100 times stronger? You want to keep me, Yimo? Don't even dream about it. E.G.'s face looked bad, but he couldn't rebuke. Yimo was telling the truth. Even if Ningqing left, it wasn't possible for the people here to keep Yimo. Yimo was no match for them. He couldn't even beat a Primal Chaos Dao Lord. Not being able to beat him and keeping him here were two different things. If he wanted to leave, he could do so at any time. Besides, who here wasn't selfish? Even if a fight broke out, no one would go all out. They might even use a third of their power. When everyone surrounded Yimo and Ningqing, if everyone attacked with full power, Yimo and Ningqing wouldn't have just suffered such minor injuries. Ningqing knew what Yimo meant. After he left, he wouldn't be able to stop anything that happened here. Not to mention whether the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe had the patience to wait for tens of thousands of years. Even if the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe was waiting for Pan Qian, it would not necessarily take tens of thousands of years to arrive here. After all, Pan Qian's power kept rising on the way. Once he reached a big state, he might only need 1/10 of tens of thousands of years. Pan Qian had the ancient giant bloodline. His talent was very likely. Indeed, Yimo sound transmissioned. There are countless powerful people here. If Brother Yi can't get benefits in the Chaos Inner Realm, your power will drop a level when you leave. Ningqing fell silent. He wanted to go to the Great Change Realm to see Shi Qianghua. But Yimo was right. If he lost the right to go into the Chaos Inner Realm, his power would be pulled apart from these people. In the future, his strength would definitely pull apart from these people. Without strength, he would have nothing. Others could not wait for him to leave as soon as possible. Once he left, there would be one less competitor. Ningqing saluted with his fist to Yimo. Thank you, Brother Yi, for your guidance. I've decided to leave after this place opens. As the powerful people in the Chaos Inner Realm reached an agreement to cultivate while waiting for Pan Qian, the entire Chaos Void seemed to have calmed down. Chapter 1463. No matter who you are, one day in the future, I will grind your bones to ashes. Outside the chaotic void, a purple copper-faced man stared at the chaotic void and cursed. This man was the one who was defeated by Ningcheng and escaped from the chaotic void. He knew very well that he would never have the chance to find another chaotic corner in this life. Therefore, he might as well take this opportunity to leave the chaotic void as soon as possible. However, his hatred for Ningcheng had already been etched in his mind. Unfortunately, he didn't know that Ningcheng came from the Grand Essence realm. Otherwise, he would have gone to the Grand Essence realm first. However, this man only cursed half a sentence before staring at the vast void in the distance in shock. He muttered to himself in disbelief. Uncun stone, did I just see the Uncun stone? Immediately he felt surprised. He was sure that what he saw was the Uncun stone. The next moment, he rushed over without hesitation. When he arrived in front of the huge stone, he froze. A skinny man stood on top of the huge stone. Rather than a person, it was more like a standing skeleton. Did the Uncun stone recognize him as its master? The purple copper-faced man's eyes flashed with surprise, but he soon discovered that something was wrong. The Uncun stone continuously sucked away the Dao charm aura from the skeleton, and the skeleton seemed to have no ability to resist at all. Not good. This person should have seen the Uncun stone and wanted to refine it. But what was the Uncun stone? It was an ancient great Dao supreme treasure, one of the top treasures. How could such a thing be refined so casually? That skeleton was also quite capable, but it was still holding on until now and hadn't been corroded by the Uncun stone. After understanding this, the purple copper-faced man no longer cared about the Uncun stone. Just when he wanted to retreat, a majestic void shackle came over. The purple copper-faced man snorted coldly and punched out. In the Chaos realm, he wasn't an opponent of those supreme powerhouses. Now that he left the Chaos realm, someone dared to attack him. It was simply courting death. Boom. The purple copper-faced man's punch was answered with the same punch. The two fists collided, and space exploded. Before the purple copper-faced man could say anything, a powerful force rolled him up and dragged him onto the Uncun stone. If he could regret, he would have regretted it countless times. He shouldn't have approached the Uncun stone. The skeleton on the Uncun stone was obviously using the Uncun stone's Dao charm aura to imprison him. The purple copper-faced man was also a powerhouse from the Chaos realm. Even if he fell into a trap, he wouldn't give up so easily. As his domain stretched out, the Dao charm aura around his body, formed waves after waves of laws. If one wanted to 1-1 and 1-1-1-1-1-1. Dao charm, the Dao matter, one Dao, one hand, 1-1-1-1-1. Over the countless years he had absorbed countless blood essences and Daoist rhymes, but he had never encountered such a strong resistance. The two Daoist powers were in a stalemate, but they soon reached a stalemate. The copper face was unable to get away from the Uncun stone, and the skeleton man was unable to do anything to the copper face. As time passed, the purple copper face's heart sank. He knew that the longer this dragged on, the worse it would be for him. As time. After an unknown period of time, perhaps 100 years, perhaps 1,000 years, the purple copper face's Daoist spirit finally loosened. It was only for a moment, but a sharp Daoist spirit entered his world area. It hit his protective rule. Kacha. A soft sound was heard. The copper-faced man was shocked. Before he could resist, the blood essence and Dao runes in his body were instantly opened up and were sucked away. Blood chi gradually appeared on the skeleton-like man's body. Soon after, a black mist revolved around his head. His body also became stronger at a speed visible to the naked eye. Copperface's body began to shrivel up. Stop. I will tell you the path of the creation path. The copper-faced man was panicking as he shouted. You know about the great Tao of creation? The man on the Uncun rock asked in a hoarse voice. The copper-face quickly said. Yes, there is a chaotic edge in the chaotic void. The edge of chaos was filled with the aura of chaos when the universe first separated. If one could enter the chaotic inner realm from there, they would be able to enter the creation great Tao directly. If you let me go, I will guide you to the chaotic void and bring you there. Then, as if he was afraid that the man on the Uncun rock would worry, he added, There are only 3 or 4 people there. I am not afraid of fighting one-on-one, but I am no match for the 4 of them together. I swear that if I lie, my great Tao will collapse and I will not be able to reincarnate. If that is the case, lead the way. The man on the uncun rock was emotionless. He had no intention of letting go of the copper-faced man. The copper-faced man knew that begging for mercy was useless, so he just led the way. Even if he died, he wanted to bring this person to the real experts. He wanted to let this guy, who had consumed his blood essence and Tao runes, know that there were many people stronger than him in this universe. Even if he had the uncun rock, in front of these experts, he would be just like him, waiting to die. In the chaotic void, the chaotic corner that was occupied by many experts fell into silence after everyone started cultivating. Each of them used a restriction to protect their bodies and cultivated wholeheartedly. In this place, no one trusted anyone. To them, 1,000 years passed in the blink of an eye like eating and breathing. Qin Mutian's eyes scanned past where Ningcheng and Yemo were. He even glanced at where Xingxi was. Everyone was cultivating in the same place. He could clearly feel that these three improved the most. There was the qi of the origin of chaos here, but to Qin Mutian, it could only condense his power and make his god art more rounded. It was impossible to suddenly improve in just a few thousand years. The terrifying Tao rune aura condensed around the three of them made him feel that if this continued, there would be a day when the three of them would surpass him, Qin Mutian. He couldn't let the three of them cultivate like this, especially Ningcheng and Yemo. These two were even more dangerous. Qin Mutian got up, but before he could speak, a few powerful beings stood up too. Qin Mutian stared at the chaotic corner in shock. He knew that these people standing up had nothing to do with him. Instead, it was because everyone felt a similarly majestic aura that carried the vastness of the void. Uncun stone? Ningcheng was shook. He cultivated on the uncun stone before. This was clearly the qi of the uncun stone. Before Ningcheng could understand how the uncun stone came here, a few people charged out. Ningcheng naturally did not hesitate to rush out from behind. It was not that a treasure like the Kuan stone suddenly appeared in this place. As such, no one would not feel excited in their hearts. Tao friends, this person wants to refine the uncun stone. The copper-faced man was only skin and bones now. When he saw everyone, he immediately yelled. But his yell was cut off abruptly. Then he became paralyzed on the uncun stone and disappeared. It really is the uncun stone. Chaos Tao Lord exclaimed. Almost at the same time, Yi and Xianhuang Gaiyan charged at the uncun stone. Following behind the two of them, even more experts rushed over. Who didn't want the uncun stone? The man standing on the uncun stone sneered. His eyes scanned Ningcheng and Yemo with cold killing intent. With so many powerful beings here, it would be a feast for him. But his smile instantly froze. He soon found that no one here was weaker than him. In fact, most of them were stronger than him. How was this possible? How could so many powerful beings suddenly appear? What was going on? The man on the uncun stone wanted to scream, but the endless space imprisoned him. He couldn't resist at all. No, how could he be so arrogant? Why did he come to the chaotic void? His mind seemed to be blinded by something. A lifeless voice sounded in the depths of his consciousness. I'm just helping your hatred. You bastard, you're the worst scum I've ever seen. Your grandpa Duan didn't mess with you. If you want to kill your grandpa Duan, even if Grandpa Duan doesn't reincarnate, I'll give you a bowl of water to wash your feet. The voice disappeared in an instant. The man on the uncun stone's mind suddenly cleared up and he screamed, Duan Gantai, it's you bastard. All these years he was focused on refining the uncun stone. He was in a stalemate with the uncun stone, and didn't realize that this insect's will was still there. Unfortunately, his voice stopped abruptly. The next moment, a red sword ray pierced through his body, turning him into pieces of flesh and blood. A primordial spirit escaped in a hurry. But before it could get far, the Xianhuang Gaiyan who couldn't snatch the Kuan stone suddenly formed a void hand seal. This void hand seal directly crushed the essence spirit into nothingness. Then countless Tao runes swept towards the uncun stone. Everyone knew that it was impossible to refine the uncun stone in a hurry. These Tao runes were doing the same thing, and that was to take the uncun stone into their realm domain, and then slowly refine it. However, even if everyone here was extremely powerful, It was impossible to take the Uncun Stone in a hurry. Among those fighting for the Uncun Stone, Xingxi clearly had the greatest advantage. She had the creation Green Lotus. Although it couldn't sweep away the Uncun Stone in a hurry, its advantage was extremely obvious. Chaos Dao Lord and Qin Mutian seemed to know that these people wouldn't be able to get the Uncun Stone, so they simply stood on the periphery and waited. At this moment, Ningqing suddenly rushed in and blasted a finger on the Uncun Stone. The violent Dao runes spread out and blasted away all the surrounding power. Under Ningqing's finger, the Bukuan Stone rushed out of the many Dao charms and disappeared into the endless chaotic void. A few Dao lords didn't even have time to deal with Ningqing, and were about to chase after the Uncun Stone. However, these people just took a few steps and came back again. It wasn't that they couldn't catch up, but they were worried that once they left, the chaotic inner realm would suddenly open. Compared to the primordial chaos Dao runes, the Uncun Stone seemed to be less attractive. What's more, the Uncun Stone wasn't that easy to collect and refine. Such a familiar qi. Yi Mo frowned as he looked at the body that was killed by Xingxi and then crushed by Xianhuang Gaian. Ningqing also felt a sense of familiarity. He was just about to ask the mysterious yellow Gaian if it was because that person was once an unlucky person in the mysterious yellow bead, when he saw a huge figure striding over. Pan Qian was here. Ningqing immediately threw this matter aside. Chapter 1464. It really is the good fortune indestructible axe. Pan Qian immediately saw the giant axe floating in the void. The indestructible axe chuckled. As expected of a descendant of the Pan clan, not only is your willpower commendable, you've also advanced 2 levels in such a short period of time. I reckon you've had some sort of fortuitous encounter along the way. Kid, what's your name? Pan clan's unfilial junior, Pan Qian, greets senior indestructible axe. Hearing the indestructible axe's words, Pan Qian hurriedly bowed and replied. At this moment, no matter how many experts were in the surroundings, his attention was focused on the indestructible axe. Not bad, not bad. Pan Qian, since you're here, you'll have a share of the good fortune. The indestructible axe said with satisfaction. In fact, Yi Mo guessed right, the immortal axe was getting impatient. If Pan Qian still didn't come, it was hard to say whether he could continue waiting. Fortunately, Ningqing did not leave. If Ningqing left, then the chaotic inner world would no longer have anything to do with him. For the indestructible axe, it was only natural for Ningqing to give him the fragment of the indestructible axe. Because he had also saved Ningqing once, both of them did not owe each other anything. He would never deliberately wait for Ningqing here for such a trivial matter. He had waited for Pan Qian for so many years, not because he admired Pan Qian, but because the indestructible axe was once a magic treasure of the Pan clan. Big brother Ning. Shen Mingyan saw Ningqing standing on the side and called out in shock. She did not understand how Ningqing could appear in such a place. Didn't elder brother Pan Qian say that if not for the trace left behind by the indestructible axe, they would not have been able to enter? Ningqing's strength should not be as high as elder brother Pan Qian, so how could he come in? Not to mention that he was not as strong as elder brother Pan Qian. Ningqing's strength might not even be as good as his own. After all, she and big brother Pan Qian had advanced again because of the opportunity in the void hundreds of years ago. She had reached the late-stage Dao birth while big brother Pan Qian had reached the mid-stage Dao integration. She, Shen Mingyan, could cultivate to the middle-stage Dao birth in just tens of thousands of years. It was all because of the opportunities in the void. Without these opportunities, let alone the Dao birth, it would have been difficult for her to step into the eternal realm. No matter how good big brother Ningqing's opportunities were, it couldn't be better than hers, right? Oh, brother Ningqing, you are also here? Pan Qian spoke out in surprise. It was not until this time that he saw Ningqing. Not waiting for Ningqing to speak, Pan Qian continued, Brother Ning, your strength has made a lot of progress. Could it be that you have already stepped into the 3rd step? Pan Qian stared at Ningqing with wide eyes, almost in disbelief. His Pan clan bloodline could be said to be one of the most suitable bloodlines for cultivation. After so many years, he was only at the mid-stage Dao integration realm. When he had separated from Ningqing, Ning Cheng's strength was not as good as his, so how could he have stepped into the third step so quickly? Ning Cheng smiled and walked up before speaking. Pan Qian, you've spent quite a bit of time in the void this time. I've been to the Great Change Realm a few times, but there was no news of you. I didn't expect you to be lost. You've been to the Great Change Realm? Pan Qian asked in surprise. Ning Cheng nodded. Let's talk about this later. After that, Ning Cheng said to Shin Mingyan, Senior Apprentice Sister Mingyan, long time no see. Congratulations on stepping into the Dao Birth Realm and condensing your Dao charm. Hearing Ning Cheng's words, Shin Mingyan understood that Ning Cheng's strength was indeed much stronger than hers. Otherwise, he wouldn't have seen through her cultivation at a glance. Moreover, Ning Cheng looked like an ordinary person to her. Junior apprentice brother Ning, elder brother Pan Qian, and I obtained some opportunities in the void. Alas, it's a long story. Shin Mingyan spoke with a sigh. Ning Cheng suddenly felt a little strange. He addressed Yu Qing as junior apprentice sister and Shin Mingyan as senior apprentice sister. Moreover, Yu Qing's previous life was Shin Mingyan's daughter. This was simply. However, Ning Cheng quickly put these thoughts aside. Although Shin Mingyan and Yu Qing's previous life had a connection, such things were difficult to explain in words. Xingxi glanced at Shin Mingyan. She felt that Shin Mingyan and Yu Qing looked a bit alike, but she didn't talk nonsense. First, after Pan Qian came here, the chaotic inner realm was about to open. She didn't want to talk nonsense. Second, this place wasn't the chaotic inner realm. If she angered Ning Cheng might even attack her immediately. Seeing Ning Cheng and Pan Qian, who was waiting for indestructible axe, Dao Lord Primal Chaos couldn't accuse Ning Cheng of wasting time. Therefore he said, Dao Friend Indestructible Axe, now that the descendants of Pan Clan are here, should we open the chaotic inner realm? What's the hurry? Indestructible Axe angrily asked. The chaotic inner realm required Indestructible Axe to open. Therefore, although Dao Lord Primal Chaos felt angry, he couldn't do anything about it. Pan Qian, I brought you here because I wanted to see if you still have the same persistence as Pan Clan. Second, I'm leaving. I want to give you some opportunities when the good fortune inner realm opens. Indestructible Axe spoke as if no one else was around. Pan Qian was slightly startled, but he immediately understood Indestructible Axe's meaning. He felt very sad in his heart. After all, Indestructible Axe used to be Pan Clan's weapon, but now his Pan Clan couldn't have Indestructible Axe anymore. Senior, whatever you say, Pan Qian will obey. Pan Qian bowed. No matter what, Indestructible Axe was Pan Clan's weapon. It was equivalent to being the senior of all Pan Clan clansmen. I plan to peel off a few creation axe runes from my body for you. You can find an extreme grade material to forge a giant axe. Saying this, Indestructible Axe suddenly flew to Ning Cheng's side. It's best if it's the same as your brother Ning Cheng's blue spear. And Dao Friend Yi Mo's purple saber. It's a material that can upgrade magic artifacts. Indestructible Axe didn't finish speaking and muttered to himself. No, there are too few materials that can upgrade it. I'm afraid you won't be able to find it. Ning Cheng took the initiative to speak. Dao Friend Indestructible Axe, if you're willing to peel off a few creation axe runes, I have a material that can help Pan Qian forge a giant axe. As he spoke, Ning Cheng raised his hand and grabbed that piece of heaven creation iron essence. Qin Mutian's eyes almost spat out fire when he saw Ning Cheng grab the heaven creation iron essence. Wasn't this iron essence something from his treasure trove? Why did it appear on Ning Cheng? Heaven creation iron essence? At this moment, almost everyone stared at the ordinary piece of iron in Ning Cheng's hand in shock. The people here all knew what was good and what was bad. Good stuff, this is the best thing to forge Pan Qian's axe. Indestructible Axe said in surprise. Although he had called Pan Qian over, Pan Qian's strength was too low. Even if he entered the chaotic inner realm, he would at best only reach the third step. It was impossible to snatch the primordial chaos Dao runes. Ning Cheng, this heaven creation iron essence belongs to me, right? You're quite a character. Yet you sneaked into my treasure trove and took away my iron essence. It doesn't match your identity. Qin Mutian resisted the anger in his heart and spoke in a gloomy tone. Ningcheng understood Qin Mutian's thoughts. Don't look at Qin Mutian's generosity in leaving the treasure in the radiant treasury. It was because he knew that even if the people from the light and dark cosmos obtained this mother iron, it would only be a wedding dress for him. He wished that the people of the light and dark universe were as strong as possible, because he was the one who raised them. No matter how strong they would only be in the light and dark universe. He didn't expect that Ningcheng, a person from the five-element universe, would not only enter his light treasury and take away his heaven creation iron essence, but also leave the light and dark universe. Not only that, but Ningcheng also wanted to make this heaven creation iron essence into someone else's weapon. Oh, is this yours? Why did I hear that it belonged to the Lord of the Light and Dark Universe during the origin of the Light and Dark Universe? By the way, I also heard that the Lord of the Light and Dark Universe was harmed. The person who harmed him called himself the Light and Dark Sacred Lord. You know that I like to fight against injustice, so I built the reincarnation path in the Sacred Region River in anger, and turned the Sacred Region River into the reincarnation realm. Ningcheng said in a faint tone. When Qin Mutian heard this, he almost couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. If Ningcheng hadn't mentioned it, he wouldn't have known about it. In other words, the light and dark universe already had its own reincarnation path, and had nothing to do with him anymore. Very well, I hope you remember what you just said. Qin Mutian took a deep breath and said word by word. If he didn't kill Ningcheng, he wouldn't be the light and dark sacred lord. When they heard that Ningcheng built the reincarnation path, and turned the Sacred Region River into the reincarnation realm, everyone looked at Ningcheng differently. Even Chaos Dao Lord and Karma Dao Lord looked at Ningcheng differently. Although they were stronger than Ningcheng, it probably wasn't that easy to build a reincarnation realm of their own. Ningcheng had just stepped into the third step, yet he was able to achieve this. It was simply too heaven-defying. Yemo looked at Ningcheng and smiled. Congratulations, it's finally perfected. Ningcheng knew what Yemo was congratulating him for. He perfected the 7 bridges, and used them to build the reincarnation path, turning the Sacred Region River into the reincarnation realm. He knew that if he could do this, Yemo would be able to do the same after reaching the third step. Yemo had teamed up with him before, and had seen his first 6 bridges. He was certain that after reaching the third step, Yemo perfected the 7 bridges god art. Then I'll congratulate Dao friend Ning. Let's go into the Chaos Inner Realm as soon as possible. Chaos Dao Lord felt even more threatened after knowing that Ningcheng could build the reincarnation realm. The indestructible axe gave a snort. What's the hurry? Since Dao friend Ningcheng took out the innate iron essence, then it means that he naturally wants to refine the axe. I will only start when Pan Qian's axe is finished. No matter how unhappy Qin Mutian and them were, there was nothing they could do. The indestructible axe clearly wanted Pan Qian's axe to advance in the chaotic inner realm, which was why it wanted to refine the axe first. Of course, Immortal Axe was also worried that once they entered the chaos inner realm, no one would be willing to help Pan Qian forge his axe. Ningcheng saluted with his fists. Dao friend Immortal Axe, I can help, but I promised someone that I would give them 1 magic artifact made from the heaven creation metal source. That is only natural. Seeing that you took out the opening heaven iron source, and even helped me to refine this axe, I can also give you some of my axe charm. The indestructible axe spoke up. Chapter 1465. Everyone once again entered the chaotic corner. This place was filled with primal chaos aura, and the laws here were also chaotic. This was the best place to refine weapons. Since the indestructible axe insisted on helping Pan Qian refine the axe, everyone could only wait. After waiting for thousands of years, why would they care about this little bit of time? What a rich primal chaos aura. Shen Mingyan froze as soon as she came in. But then she understood why Ningcheng had such high strength. If she cultivated here for tens of thousands of years, she would have already stepped into the primordial chaos realm. She didn't know that Ningcheng hadn't cultivated here for long. Moreover, at Ningcheng's realm, even if he cultivated here, the improvement in his strength would be limited. The indestructible axe stood not far from Ningcheng and said to Ningcheng, "You can refine artifacts. If you need me to strip off the axe charm, just let me know. Oh, Ningqing didn't stand on ceremony and directly brought out a blue flame. The flame looked like a brilliant galaxy, and it looked gorgeous. The aura coming from it was amazing. Celestial River Sacred Flame. As soon as the Celestial River Flame came out, someone immediately recognized it and exclaimed in surprise. Making a fuss. The Celestial River Flame muttered in disdain. Primal Chaos Sacred Emperor and the others didn't care about it. For them, it was indeed a fuss. The Celestial River Flame didn't count as anything. There were at least 3 or 4 people with Celestial River Sacred Flames here. Before the flames confronted each other, no one would think that their flame was inferior to others. Qin Mutian didn't put the Celestial River Flame in his eyes. He had at least 3 sacred flames that weren't any weaker than Ningqing's flame. But when he saw Ningqing take out another thing, he turned furious. Ningqing, do you still have any face? You even took my universe origin embryo membrane. Ningqing didn't bother to pay any attention to Qin Mutian, and directly called out Chasing Bull. He pointed to Qin Mutian and said to Chasing Bull, Chasing Bull, Master wants to refine artifacts. If this fellow dares to be long-winded, block him for me. Refining artifacts in the chaotic corner. He also had the help of the indestructible axe charm. Faced with such an opportunity, how could Ningqing give up? He decided to refine at least 4 artifacts. Even if Qin Mutian was more shrewd, seeing Ningqing use his most precious artifact to refine artifacts, he still found it unbearable. Did you also take my chaotic origin stone? Qin Mutian asked word by word. Not only had Ningqing taken away the chaotic origin stone, but he had also used it to reach the 3rd step. However, Ningqing simply ignored him and continued to carve out the void array for crafting artifacts. Chasing Bull, on the other hand, didn't speak well. It didn't know who Qin Mutian was and yelled, Dead face, what's wrong with you? Can't you see my master crafting artifacts? If you shout again, your grandpa ox will seal your mouth and smear some cow dung on it. Qin Mutian's face was gloomy. If this was anywhere else, he would have smashed the stupid cow into pieces the moment it said the first word. Speechless? Can you afford to pay for any damage caused by my master's artifact forging? With your 2 or 3 pieces of dead human flesh in your buttocks, my master's fart is worth more than yours. Do you know where my master's things come from? You don't know, right? Grandpa Ox will tell you, it's the Radiant Light Treasury. Kid, have you heard of the Radiant Light Treasury? You don't know about it, right? Grandpa Ox will slowly tell you. Chasing Bull saw that its first sentence had an effect. Shut up. Ningqing yelled. This stupid cow. Why didn't you just scold Qin Mutian until he shut his mouth? What Radiant Light Treasury? The Radiant Light Treasury originally belonged to Qin Mutian. Everyone looked at Chasing Bull speechlessly. It must be very tiring to have such a pet beast, right? Yemo thought of his pet beast, Shadowless. If Shadowless met Chasing Bull, what would the result be? Would it be a group of ducks? Or, Yemo didn't dare to think about it. Chasing Bull shut up. Although Qin Mutian was furious, he didn't speak any nonsense. He knew that as long as he dared to say half a word, this stupid cow would probably continue talking for days and nights. Ningqing had already forged the creation god spear, so he had some experience with the celestial river flame. The mother iron melted in the flame, and Ningqing controlled the melted mother iron to roll in the void. Endless primal chaos aura poured in, and seeped into the constantly changing heaven-opening mother iron. Ningqing also sent the universe origin embryo membrane into the flame, and gradually fused with the heaven-opening mother iron. Ningqing's Daorun hand seals engraved one after another. Soon, everyone realized that Ningqing wasn't refining 2 weapons, but 4. Refining several magic treasures at the same time was something that everyone here could do. But fusing the heaven-opening mother iron with the universe origin embryo membrane, and even fusing the indestructible axe's axe charm wasn't something ordinary people could do. The primordial chaos aura from the chaotic edges swept over, and fused with the materials that were being fused. At this moment, no one felt annoyed with Ningqing for delaying everyone's time. Everyone wanted to see what kind of treasure Ningqing could refine in the end. Even Xianhuang Gaian felt shocked. Ningqing's artifact crafting technique was somewhat similar to his. He was sure that Ning Cheng's artifact crafting technique was derived from abstruse yellow formless. But Ning Cheng's technique had clearly surpassed the artifact crafting technique, derived from abstruse yellow formless. It made people feel an indescribable Dao aura. In fact, Xianhuangyan felt good. When Ning Cheng reached the third step, he directly severed Dao creation realm. At this moment, the influence of abstruse yellow formless on him had disappeared, or rather, he had severed abstruse yellow formless. Even if he still cultivated abstruse yellow formless, it was no longer the abstruse yellow formless he learned in the abstruse yellow bead, but a cultivation method condensed from his own laws. Ning Cheng realized that as long as he was present, the Dao was behind. Whether it was his cultivation method or spirit art, pill concoction and artifact crafting, they all changed. Yemo also sighed. Ning Cheng's Dao was similar to his Dao. After he reached the third step with Dao severing, he also surpassed the original three-birth Dao chant like Ning Cheng. This was the third stage that Ning Cheng and Tamu spoke of. Seeing mountains as mountains, seeing water as water as water. Ning Cheng was still cultivating abstruse yellow formless while Yemo was still cultivating three-birth Dao chant. But perhaps only the person who comprehended it could understand the Dao. Time gradually passed, and in a blink of an eye, a month had passed. The chaos chi that swept over also slowly weakened. Under the astral river flame, a prototype of a giant axe gradually appeared. The axe hadn't completely condensed yet, but a violent killing intent seeped out. Everyone was secretly shocked. Once this giant axe was formed, it would probably be another top-grade treasure. After the axe rolled a few times in the flame, it floated in a corner. Just half an incense stick later, a pair of half-moon double rings and a 7-color glass belt prototype appeared at the same time. Following closely behind the crescent moon double rings and the 7-colored glazed belt was a green longsword. The 4 magic artifacts occupied the 4 corners, each occupying one side. Ning Cheng's Dao waves were engraved one by one. Under the infiltration of the astral river flame, these Dao waves kept condensing into the 4 magic artifacts. Just when everyone was attracted by Ning Cheng's grand Dao waves, Ning Cheng suddenly called out, "Dao friend Indestructible Axe, please send out 4 creation Dao waves." Indestructible Axe had been waiting for Ning Cheng to speak. When he heard Ning Cheng say that he would send out 4 creation Dao waves at once, he was dumbfounded. He thought it would be 2 at most. For at once? Did he pick up the creation Dao waves? Thinking of his promise to Ning Cheng, he could only strip off the 4 creation Dao waves and throw them towards the 4 magic artifacts. As soon as the 4 creation Dao waves fell in, Ning Cheng swept them into the 4 magic artifacts. The 4 magic artifacts let out bursts of Dao waves, and the chaos chi in the corner once again swept over. Ning Cheng's Dao wave hand seals were even faster as he sent them into the 4 magic artifacts one by one. After a few days, the clear sounds gradually subsided. The 4 magic artifacts flew out of the astral river flame and floated around Ning Cheng. Although the giant axe didn't have the imposing aura of the good fortune indestructible axe, it still exuded a primal aura. Because it hadn't been refined yet, it still exuded a primal aura. Not only the giant axe, but the 7-colored glazed belt, the half-moon twin rings, and the blue sword also exuded the same primal aura. One could imagine that as long as they settled for a period of time or were scoured by the chaotic inner world, these 4 magic artifacts would become something that everyone would want. Dao friend Ning, this is the first time I've seen such a grand Dao artifact crafting technique. Dao Lord Chaos praised sincerely with a sincere tone. Apparently he truly praised Ning Cheng's methods. Ning Cheng cupped his fists. Many thanks for Dao friend Chaos praise. After saying this, Ning Cheng waved his hand, and the other 3 magic artifacts fell around Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng grabbed the great axe in his hands, before sending it to Pan Qian and spoke. Pan Qian, this axe is for you. Pan Qian grabbed the giant axe in excitement. He had seen Ning Cheng forge this axe with his own eyes. Most likely, apart from the good fortune indestructible axe, this axe was the strongest axe in the world. Brother Ning Cheng, I Pan Qian, won't say any words of thanks. Ning Cheng patted Pan Qian. We've all been through life and death together, so there's no need for thanks. This axe has just taken shape. After entering the chaotic inner world, You can refine it. I hope that in the future, you can take this axe and come with me to the gate of good fortune. Okay. Pan Qian bowed to the good fortune indestructible axe again. Many thanks for Senior's selfless help. Pan Qian will never forget it. The indestructible axe said indifferently. If the descendants of the Pan clan didn't have a giant axe, how could they have the surname Pan? You don't have to be so polite. I'll give you the axe. The rest is up to you. But this axe should also have a name. What should I call it? Yemo smiled. Why don't we call it Pangu axe? The good fortune indestructible axe was overjoyed. Not bad, this name is good. Pan Qian, from now on, this axe of yours will be called Pangu axe. Chapter 1466. After saying that, the indestructible axe suddenly swept up a monstrous axe intent. Everyone, when I'm going to split open the chaotic inner realm, please give it your all. Taoist indestructible axe, don't worry. We will attack at the same time. Tao Lord Chaos said immediately. After Tao Lord Chaos finished speaking, the rest also took out their magic treasures, indicating that they would attack immediately. The indestructible axe was strong, but it would be difficult to rely on the power of the indestructible axe alone to open the chaotic inner realm. Only when the indestructible axe cleaved down, and everyone took out their magic treasures to attack at the crack at the same time could they tear open the chaotic inner realm. Therefore, Tao Lord Chaos had no objections to the indestructible axe's request. After getting the consent of Tao Lord Chaos, the indestructible axe's blade, which had already swept up a monstrous aura, instantly transformed into tens of thousands of feet long, and the killing intent of the axe became even more substantial. This was not the end, as the axe's blade continued to extend. At this moment, all the people around could sense a powerful killing intent from it. If not for the attraction of the chaotic inner realm, some people would have even sat down to comprehend it. Boom! The axe blade, which had condensed endless killing intent, slammed down in front of everyone, where spiritual senses and vision could not penetrate. Without any nomological divine power, there was no room for reservation, and the axe just slashed down. The endless axe blade's killing intent followed this aura, and poured onto the barrier of the chaotic inner realm before seeping in and disappearing without a trace. After several breaths of time, a series of cracking sounds could be heard. The cracking sounds were endless, as if ice was being blasted apart. Then the cracks slowly spread. Do it. Tao Lord Chaos took out the chaos bell as he spoke. Almost at the same time, everyone took out their magic treasures. Ning Cheng's creation divine spear also blasted out. Unless one's control of the divine power law was higher than the chaotic inner realm, any divine power would be illusory in the face of this void barrier. At that moment, everyone did not need any divine power to attack. What they needed was the most direct Dao Rune power. More than 20 top experts took out their magic treasures at the same time and attacked with all their might. The violent Dao Runes directly tore countless cracks in the space at the edge of the chaos. The people here all knew that these cracks were not what they needed. Only the crack in front of the indestructible axe's blade was the place that they wanted to enter. Caca. The sound of the void tearing became louder and louder, and the surging aura of primal chaos seeped out. Everyone could see a crack. The indestructible axe once again transformed into an axe blade that was hundreds of thousands of feet long, and once again smashed down. Everyone's attacks followed the bombardment of the indestructible axe at the same time. More and more cracks appeared in the void, and the crack grew even larger. The void blade radiance and collapses shot out from the other planes and fell on the bodies of the many experts that had been shaken open. At this moment, no one cared about these void blade lights that were harmless to them. Everyone's eyes and attention were focused on the same place, the crack that led to the chaotic inner world. The indestructible axe's blade slammed down for the third time. This time, before everyone's attack fell, the void that spiritual consciousness could not penetrate suddenly issued a hua-hua sound. It was as if a giant mirror had been shattered and completely collapsed. Hua-hua. The sound spread out from the inside, and a vast and majestic world appeared in front of everyone. Although everyone's spirit sense was still blurry, they could vaguely feel that vast and majestic chi. A few impatient powerhouses could no longer hold themselves back and rushed in. Those supreme experts didn't move, and neither did Ningcheng and Yemo. At this moment, the chaotic inner world had just opened, and the baleful qi and violence that had been accumulated for billions of years instantly gushed out. At this moment, no one would have a good time going in. Plus, this chaotic inner world hadn't been completely opened yet, and it was still collapsing. Like dominoes after the indestructible axe's third strike, the barrier of the chaotic inner world started to collapse, and then it extended out. Those experts who charged in first were hit by the endless baleful qi and that vast qi, and like cannonballs, they flew out of the corner of the chaotic inner world. Everyone knew that even if these guys could come back here, they would only be able to eat the leftovers. It's actually a complete collapse, Tao Lord Xingchen said in shock. Everyone understood what Tao Lord Stellar meant. When they blasted open this chaotic corner, the other chaotic corners would also collapse at the same time until the entire chaotic inner realm was completely revealed to everyone. At this moment, even those who didn't participate in this attack would have a chance to enter the chaotic inner world as long as they were in the corner of the chaotic inner world. The collapse of the void didn't last long. When the majestic aura weakened, everyone rushed in crazily. Ningcheng and Yemo also charged into the chaotic inner world in an instant. At this moment, it was a competition of luck and speed. When he was in the chaotic inner world, Ningcheng only had one feeling. He seemed to be the number one person in this universe, and he was surrounded by the endless primal origin Tao waves. The primal chaos qi could allow people to easily understand all the Tao of heaven and earth that they couldn't understand before. Then, these Tao of heaven and earth would give birth to their own law Tao waves. Everyone could imagine that if they cultivated here for tens of thousands of years, they would probably reach the fortune state. No one would really cultivate here. At the same time, it wasn't realistic. This primal chaos Tao wave qi would soon disappear after the chaotic inner world was opened. The reason why people could feel this supreme primal Tao wave was because this place had just been opened. More importantly, this wasn't a place to cultivate. Everyone charged towards the 9 golden Tao waves in the depths of the chaotic inner world. If it wasn't for Tao Lord Karma's explanation, perhaps people wouldn't know what these 9 Tao waves were. After Tao Lord Karma said this, everyone could guess that these 9 Tao waves were the most precious things in the chaotic inner world. They were 9 primordial chaos. They weren't primordial chaos purple qi, but golden. This thought appeared in Ningcheng and Yemo's mind at the same time. The 9 primordial chaos Tao waves were distributed in different corners. Ningcheng charged towards a golden primordial chaos Tao wave with a few faint runes. At the same time, Yemo charged in the opposite direction to Ningcheng. There was also a primordial chaos Tao wave there. In that instant, the chaotic inner world was where the treasures were distributed. Even those with weak cultivation level wouldn't want to see the primordial chaos Tao wave get taken by someone else. Everyone here knew Yemo and Ningcheng's power. Other than a few people, most people would rather fight for other primordial chaos Tao waves than fight with Ningcheng, Yemo, Qinmutian and Chaos Tao Lord. Everyone understood this principle. Instead of fighting for the primordial Tao aura with the top powerhouses, it was better to fight for the primordial Tao aura with the weaker ones. But not everyone knew that Ningcheng was very strong. The chaotic inner world had completely collapsed. Those who cultivated in the corners of the chaotic inner world could charge into the chaotic inner world immediately. Just as Ningcheng rushed towards the primordial Tao charm, 4 people also rushed over. A middle-aged scholar, a fat monk, a long-haired young man and a white-haired old man. These 4 had the same goal as Ningcheng, and that was to take the primordial chaos Tao wave before anyone else. Ningcheng didn't know any of these 4. Even if he knew them, he wouldn't give up on the primordial chaos Tao wave. Ningcheng's creation god spear swept out without hesitation and used traceless void tread. At the same time, the 4 who fought with Ningcheng for the primordial chaos Tao wave also attacked. Ningcheng didn't target anyone. His traceless void tread smashed towards the space around the primordial chaos Tao wave. Other than him, anyone who got closer to the primordial chaos Tao wave before him would face his attack directly. The middle-aged scholar's target was the young man, because he was closest to the middle-aged scholar. The fat monk's staff smashed towards the white-haired old man without hesitation. He was almost neck to neck with the white-haired old man. Only Ning Cheng was alone. No one got close to him. This was because Ning Cheng and the four didn't come from the same corner of the chaotic inner world. Chapter 1467. The young man clearly wasn't the middle-aged scholar's opponent. Coupled with the fact that the middle-aged scholar had attacked first, the young man's protective domain immediately shattered. By the time the young man blocked the middle-aged scholar's attack, the middle-aged scholar had already thrown him a kilometer away. In this kind of battle between powerhouses, even a fraction of a second was crucial. With a distance of a kilometer, one wouldn't stand a chance. The young man also seemed to know that he had no chance. He stared at the middle-aged scholar angrily and left without hesitation. The chaotic inner realm had just opened, and everything here was a precious treasure from when the primal chaos first separated. No one would waste a single breath at this time. Contrary to how the middle-aged scholar chased the young man away, when the fat monk attacked the white-haired old man, the white-haired old man forcibly withstood the fat monk's Dao rune attack. Then, with the help of the fat monk's Dao rune attack, he risked the danger of the domain cracking and the Dao rune scattering to increase his speed. The fat monk and the middle-aged scholar had the same plan. After driving away the opponents around them, they would reach the location of the primordial chaos Dao charm before Ning Cheng. But now, because of the white-haired old man's actions, the white-haired old man's speed was the fastest among the several people rushing towards the primordial chaos Dao charm. Based on the white-haired old man's speed, he would be the first to reach the primordial chaos Dao charm. Ning Cheng had worked so hard to attract the indestructible axe, and even participated in opening the chaotic inner realm. How could he let someone snatch away something that was already in his hands? Even with traceless space splitter blocking in front of him, Ning Cheng's speed rose to the extreme at this moment. He even crazily activated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, which he hadn't used in a long time. At this time, even a small increase in speed would be a huge advantage. Not to mention that the twin wings of the heavenly clouds didn't just increase Ning Cheng's speed by a little bit. The void seemed to have disappeared under Ning Cheng's feet. In just a moment, Ning Cheng overtook the white-haired old man. Almost at the same time, Ning Cheng, the white-haired old man and the middle-aged scholar attacked. Ning Cheng raised his hand and once again sent out countless Dao charm laws, turning this space into his law domain. The white-haired old man and the middle-aged scholar both attacked Ning Cheng with all their might. The middle-aged scholar's magic weapon was a copper flute, while the white-haired old man's magic weapon was extremely insidious. It was a colorless needle that was almost invisible to the naked eye and divine sense. The middle-aged scholar's copper flute wasn't too bad. Although the flute's sound could scatter Ning Cheng's nomological Dao charm, it couldn't stop Ning Cheng. As for the white-haired old man's colorless needle, if Ning Cheng had not brought out the traceless collapsing space first, Ning Cheng would have doubted that he could have avoided the old man's colorless needle, which even his spiritual consciousness could not detect. Ning Cheng's law space could only slow down Xiao Yinhe and the colorless needle a little. However, the traceless collapse also caused the layers of void to collapse, causing Xiao Yinhe to lose the effect of his attack. At the same time, the colorless needle also slowed down. At least, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could now scan it. Even the traceless spatial collapse could not tear the space here. It could only cause a slight collapse in the void. This slight collapse was more than enough for Ning Cheng. When traceless space collapse blocked the white-haired old man, Ning Cheng locked onto the primordial Dao charm. A feeling of standing alone in the clouds, looking down on all living beings from afar, suddenly welled up within him. It wasn't just vast and majestic, but also a powerful state of mind. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. Even if he didn't understand anything, he understood that this primordial Dao charm was probably the most precious cultivation treasure in this universe. With such a treasure in hand, how could there be any difference in qualifications? Sensing a crisis, the good fortune divine spear in Ning Cheng's hand turned into countless spear patterns and shot towards the direction of the crisis. At the same time, Ning Cheng's hands shot out countless restrictions to lock onto the primordial Dao charm and pulled it into his domain. Just as Ning Cheng put away the primordial Dao charm, the Dao charm exploded with a boom, and Ning Cheng's good fortune divine spear got hit by a powerful Dao charm. A violent whirlpool appeared at the location of the primordial Dao charm, and Ning Cheng was sent flying by the backlash from the Dao charm of the good fortune divine spear. At the same time, a few cracks appeared on his protective domain. Ning Cheng secretly felt shocked. If he had taken away the primordial Dao charm a moment later, the primordial Dao charm would have been sucked away by the whirlpool. Even if he could snatch it back from the whirlpool, it wouldn't be that simple. As the various attacks calmed down, Ning Cheng was pleasantly surprised to find a large piece of stationary soil under his feet. This was something that he had spent a great deal of effort to find, but now, it had appeared right beneath his feet. The chaotic inner world really was filled with treasures. Ning Cheng decided to search for it carefully. Ning Cheng quickly raised his hand, grabbed the piece of stationary soil, and sent it into the mysterious yellow bead. Unfortunately, it wasn't the balanced soil. If it were the balanced soil, he would have gathered all 5 earths. It wasn't until this moment that Ning Cheng's gaze fell on the opposite side. There were 3 people standing in front of him, a fat monk, a middle-aged scholar, and a purple-haired woman standing at the very front. The white-haired old man who brought out the colorless needle had long since disappeared. It seemed that he knew that he couldn't snatch the primordial Dao charm from Ning Cheng, so he took the initiative to leave. The purple-haired woman, on seeing Ning Cheng excitedly put away the piece of stationary soil, showed a trace of disdain at the corner of her mouth, and spoke with a flat tone. "Hand over the primordial Dao charm and leave." Ning Cheng chuckled. This woman truly had a lot of self-confidence. Ning Cheng had snatched the primordial Dao charm, yet she wanted him to hand it over. Listening to her tone, it sounded as if she wouldn't be polite if he didn't hand it over. Seeing that Ning Cheng ignored her, the woman's Dao charm soared, and a powerful aura of the great Dao burst out. Even the fat monk and the middle-aged scholar in the distance had to step aside to keep some distance. "I'll say it one last time. Hand over the primordial Dao charm, and get out of here." The purple-haired woman directly changed from walking to rolling, and wave after wave of killing intent, and Dao charm condensed into substance. Was this Dao Lord Fate? Ning Cheng looked at the purple-haired woman in amazement, feeling puzzled in his heart. Because the great Dao charm around this woman was the Dao charm of fate, and it contained a kind of Dao charm aura. But he had heard from Xiao Wuxin that Dao Lord Fate was a very kind person. Not only did he teach his fate cultivation method to many Dao disciples, but he also often opened Dao halls to discuss the Dao. This woman was so fierce. Was she really Dao Lord Fate? I understand now. So you're the ancestor of the Blue True Hope tribe. Sure enough, what kind of gourd produces what kind of ladle? Ning Cheng suddenly spoke up. The ancestor of the Blue True Hope tribe cultivated a fate cultivation method, but Ning Cheng could tell from this purple-haired woman that she had comprehended the fate cultivation method's branch of fate cultivation method to the extreme, and had even made a breakthrough. Ning Cheng shook his head. Except for Ali, the kings of the Blue True Hope tribe didn't seem to be good people. The purple-haired woman didn't care about Ning Cheng knowing about the Blue True Hope tribe at all. Seeing Ning Cheng shake his head, she no longer spoke any nonsense. A gray butterfly-shaped weapon rolled up a monstrous Dao charm of hope and blasted towards Ning Cheng. The moment the purple-haired woman brought out the weapon, Ning Cheng felt a desire to crawl on the ground and pray. Along with the butterfly-shaped weapon, the power of hope billowed like smoke, vast and boundless. Ning Cheng had never thought that the power of hope could reach such a terrifying level. If his mind was weak, he feared that the power of hope would have directly turned into a Dao charm, and then become a part of the power of hope. Moreover, this Dao charm of hope was something he was willing to do. The soundless Dao charm filled Ning Cheng's body, mind, and soul. This kind of fullness seemed impossible to dispel with his body and will. I want to pray with my flesh and blood. I want to pray with my soul. I want to pray with my Dao. The endless Dao charm of hope completely wrapped around Ning Cheng at this moment. It felt as if only by kneeling on the ground could he alleviate and free himself from the oppression and suffering. Turn into the Dao charm of hope for me. The purple-haired woman snapped. The butterfly-shaped weapon felt like a rolling mountain, almost pressing down on Ning Cheng's head. The middle-aged scholar watching from the side quietly retreated. He knew that even if Ning Cheng died, the primordial chaos Dao charm would no longer belong to him. A sneer appeared at the corner of the purple-haired woman's mouth. She didn't know how Ningcheng got so lucky to enter the chaotic inner world and obtain a primordial chaos Dao charm. Unfortunately, he met her, Dao Lord Wish. Everything was illusory. Gotcha. Ningcheng's realm domain shattered, and the butterfly-shaped weapon rolled up the endless power of hope and came crashing down. Ningcheng slowly opened his eyes, and the Dao charm around him surged wildly. His own Dao charm laws once again transformed into a new realm domain. Anyone who wanted to break his realm domain would have to pay a price. Not to mention Dao Lord Fate. Even if Dao Lord Fate came, it would be the same. The moment Ningcheng opened his eyes, the purple-haired woman's heart thumped for no reason. Her wish butterfly had devoured many souls and devoured many Dao charms, but she had never seen anyone like Ningcheng. Some powerhouses would look at her when the wish butterfly swallowed them, with only pious prayers and expectations in their eyes. But Ningcheng definitely wasn't like him, who looked calm with a bit of sarcasm. Before the purple-haired woman could understand what was going on, Ningcheng's good fortune divine spear had already shot out. The raging spear intent, along with the endless aura of time, blasted towards her wish butterfly. This was a laws of time spirit technique. As a supreme powerhouse, the purple-haired woman naturally knew about the power of time cultivation methods. The most powerful time cultivation methods could stagnate or even reverse time. However, Ningcheng's time spirit technique didn't make time stagnate, nor did it reverse time. If she had to describe this spirit technique with her own feelings, it would be that time flew by like an arrow. This was the rapid flow of time. At this moment, time poured down like a river bursting through a dam. The Dao charm of time that poured down formed a space, time-space-time. This was the third stage of Ningcheng's time realm. Boom! The wish butterfly, which came crashing down, was blocked by the time-space-time. The endless power of hope and Dao charm seemed to have been swallowed by time. A long spear crossed the time-space-time and blasted into the stagnant wish butterfly. Chapter 1468. Although it was just a magical weapon, the butterfly wish, under Ningcheng's spear, unexpectedly issued out a shrill scream. Following which, the power of destiny that was suppressing his mind instantly dissipated, and his surroundings became clear again. Only then did Ningcheng get a clear look at the Hope Butterfly magical weapon. It was somewhat similar to the bird that he had obtained from the ancient desolate Hope Butterfly, but it did not have the imperial jade seal. This was a weapon refined from a living being. Ningcheng could actually feel the sadness and sorrow of the Hope Butterfly in his heart. It felt as if it was narrating the helplessness and injustice of life. It felt as if it was narrating that it, a heaven-splitting divine bird, ended up being refined into a Hope Butterfly weapon. An inexplicable anger rose from the bottom of Ningcheng's heart. Regardless of whether this anger was due to the influence of the Hope Butterfly or not, the murderous aura around Ningcheng's body gradually grew thicker. "Who are you?" The purple-haired woman looked at Ningcheng with a slightly pale face. This person not only broke free from her endless hope power Dao charm, but also hurt her Hope Butterfly. Ever since she started cultivating, she had seen many experts. She knew of the 5 sages and the 10 Dao lords, and she herself was one of them. But he had never heard of this young man before. Ningcheng took in a deep breath. He didn't answer. With a roll of his long spear, it transformed into one space after another. At the same time, he rushed towards the purple-haired woman and shot out a finger. The law-breaking finger could destroy everything and ignore any law-sacred art. Boom! The purple-haired woman's Dao charm boundary directly cracked under Ningcheng's law-breaking finger. The purple-haired woman was shocked. She did not think that Ningcheng would not even bother to answer her question. However, at this moment, it was too late for her to get angry. What she had to face was Ningcheng's monstrous imposing aura, which almost turned her corporeal body into slag. The purple-haired woman's Dao charm also started to stir up, and the wish butterfly, which had screamed miserably under Ningcheng's attack, once again turned into a bird-type weapon made of the power of hope. Ningcheng suddenly felt a surge of sadness in his heart. He didn't even want to use his finger to attack the wish butterfly, which contained the endless Dao charm of long-awaited wishes. His finger paused slightly, and the purple-haired woman had already disappeared without a trace with the butterfly. Ningqing did not chase after them, as he did not know what to do after catching up with them. If he wanted to kill the purple-haired woman, he would have to destroy her butterfly wish treasure. Master! Chasing Bull's screams rang out. Ningqing couldn't care less about the purple-haired woman and rushed over with a flash. The fat monk, on seeing Ningqing disappear, hesitated for a long time. In the end, he did not chase after Ningqing. Instead, he changed a direction and instantly escaped. Before he arrived, Ningqing condensed a Dao Charm hand seal and grabbed the fleeing Chasing Bull. The next moment, a fist blasted out and landed at the original location of Chasing Bull. If it had been just a little later, Chasing Bull would have most likely turned into slag under this punch. Even a place as hard as the Chaos Inner Realm was blasted open by this punch. Master, this bastard saw that I got a good thing and attacked me. If it weren't for Master, this Grandpa Bull. No, your loyal little bull would have died at the hands of this bastard. Chasing Bull was just short of tears and snot. You again? The man who punched out stared at Ningqing and shouted out. Ningqing actually knew this person. This person had extremely white skin and looked very delicate. Moreover, this person's magical weapon was an octagonal heaven and earth hammer. This fellow's name was Xian Mao, and he should have cultivated a strength cultivation technique. As such, he had incredible strength. Ningqing had fought with him in the heavens beyond of mysterious yellow, and Ningqing's strength had been slightly stronger than his. During that battle, he had used all 6 bridges, coupled with the 3rd stage flowing time realm, and the order breaking finger. Moreover, he had grasped the perfect timing to drive Xian Mao away. Even so, he had suffered heavy injuries. One could say that he had lost that battle. Without the quintessential essence of the universe, no one knew what the consequences would have been. Now that Xian Mao appeared in the Chaos Inner Realm again, his strength had increased by several levels compared to before. He had even stepped into the Realm Convergence realm. Facing Xian Mao, who had increased his strength, Ningqing felt even more relaxed. Compared to when he was in the heavens beyond of mysterious yellow, his strength had also increased. It wasn't just a few levels, but a qualitative transformation. Ningqing ignored Xian Mao. Not to mention Xian Mao, he didn't even care about Dao Lord Strength, who cultivated a strength cultivation technique. No matter how strong Xian Mao was, he couldn't be stronger than Dao Lord Strength, right? What did you pick up? Ningqing asked Chasing Bull instead. Chasing Bull proudly grabbed a piece of gray material and said, Master, take a look. Heaven-opening Mother Iron. Ningqing said in shock. Heaven-opening Mother Iron was precious because there was only one piece after the universe opened. The heaven-opening Mother Iron of the light and dark universe had been collected by Qin Mutian in the light vault, and ended up becoming his. He had refined the 5-element universe's heaven-opening Mother Iron into the creation divine spear. And another piece had appeared in the Chaos Inner Realm. This showed that the heaven-opening Mother Iron used to refine the transformation spirit spear wasn't complete. The piece of heaven-opening Mother Iron used to refine the transformation spirit spear, and the heaven-opening Mother Iron obtained by Chasing Bull, had fused together to form a complete piece. Seeing the heaven-opening Mother Iron, Ningqing also understood why Xian Mao disregarded his identity and attacked an ant like Chasing Bull. Xian Mao had an unusual obsession with the heaven-opening Mother Iron. When he first saw the creation divine spear, he wanted it. However, during the competition, Ningqing had injured him and left. Now that he saw Chasing Bull picking up the heaven-opening Mother Iron, it would be strange if he didn't feel tempted. Ningqing raised his hand and grabbed the heaven-opening Mother Iron. After putting away the Mother Iron, he looked at Xian Mao and said, You're also a realm convergence expert. Yet you actually dared to snatch my companion beast thing. Don't you have any face? Xian Mao wanted to say that he saw it first, but it would be a ridiculous lie. If he had seen it first, no matter how far away it was, it wouldn't have fallen into the hands of a companion beast with low cultivation. I know all your means. You're not my opponent. Take out the heaven-opening Mother Iron and I won't embarrass you. Xian Mao said with a slow tone. He knew that Ningqing's most powerful move was the 6 bridges. As long as Ningqing didn't have the 7th bridge, Ningqing couldn't do anything to him. What's more, his current strength couldn't be compared to when he first arrived at the mysterious yellow heavens beyond. Ningqing didn't start immediately, because he knew that Xian Mao didn't want to kill Chasing Bull at first. If Xian Mao had wanted to kill Chasing Bull from the beginning, Chasing Bull wouldn't have even been able to call for help. Later, when Chasing Bull escaped and called for help, Xian Mao took action. Ningqing said with a calm voice, "There are many good things in the chaotic inner world. If you don't pick them up, I'll leave. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you." Xian Mao originally felt that he was in the wrong, but seeing that Ningqing didn't appreciate it at all, he sneered and brought out the octagonal heaven and earth hammer. Wait! Just when Xian Mao was about to make a move, another figure descended. "Senior apprentice brother?" Xian Mao called out in surprise and didn't continue to fight. Ningqing also knew this person, Dao Lord Strength. Looking at Dao Lord Strength's appearance, Ningqing understood that this fellow must have obtained a lot of benefits here. It turns out to be Dao Lord Ning. I wonder why Dao Lord Ning wants to fight my junior apprentice brother? Dao Lord Strength knew very well that Xian Mao wasn't Ningqing's opponent at all. Not to mention Xian Mao. Even if he and Xian Mao joined forces, they wouldn't be able to cause any harm to Ningqing. Xian Mao looked at Dao Lord Strength in doubt. "Senior apprentice brother, do you know this person? He's just a junior. Even if he obtains some good spirit techniques by chance, it doesn't count for much. His 7 bridges spirit technique is also missing the 7th bridge." Xian Mao felt puzzled because he knew Ningqing's origin. And Dao Lord Strength was his senior apprentice brother, one of the 10 ancient Dao Lords. Before Ningqing entered the reincarnation cycle, his strength surpassed Dao Lord Strength, but his reputation was far inferior to Dao Lord Strength. Which of the 10 ancient Dao Lords wasn't a proud person? How could they be so polite to a nobody like Ningqing? Dao Lord Strength waved his hand at Xian Mao, and continued to look at Ningqing in doubt, seemingly waiting for Ningqing's answer. Ningqing then understood that Xian Mao and Dao Lord Strength's cultivation method originated from the same place. Seeing that Xian Mao didn't show much respect to Dao Lord Strength, Ningqing wondered if it was because Gai Yi took away the title of Dao Lord Strength, while Xian Mao didn't get anything. In fact, Ningqing's guess was right. Both Xian Mao and Gai Yi cultivated strength cultivation methods. Before entering the reincarnation cycle, although Xian Mao wasn't as strong as Gai Yi, he wasn't much weaker than Gai Yi. Later, Xian Mao cultivated hard, and even felt that his strength had surpassed Gai Yi. That was because he had been in seclusion, while Gai Yi was wandering outside. In the end, Gai Yi gained the title of one of the 10 ancient Dao Lords, but he didn't get anything. It wasn't until the gate of good fortune opened that he fell inside, and was reborn through reincarnation that he no longer cared about the title. However, he still found it strange that Gai Yi, one of the 10 ancient Dao Lords, was so polite to Ningqing. Ningqing chuckled. "It turns out that Xian Mao is your junior apprentice brother. Your junior apprentice brother snatched my companion beast's things, and even tried to kill my companion beast. I didn't care about it, but now he even tried to kill my companion beast. What do you think?" Dao Lord Strength looked at Chasing Bull next to Ningqing and understood everything. He quickly cupped his fists again and said, "This is my junior apprentice brother's fault. I hope Dao Lord Ning can forgive him." After saying that, Dao Lord Strength stopped Xian Mao, who was about to speak. Dao Lord Strength wasn't such a person. Even if he wasn't as strong as Ningqing, he wouldn't speak so politely. Even if Dao Lord Strength had some kind of plot, Ningqing would take it. "Let's go." Ningqing no longer spoke any nonsense. With Chasing Bull in his hand, he flashed deeper into the chaotic inner world. For him, the most important thing right now was to look for good things in this place. "Senior apprentice brother, why are you so polite to him? He's just a junior. And do you know what that bull took? It's the heaven-opening Iron Mother." As soon as Ningqing left, Xian Mao spoke up with a gloomy expression. The heaven-opening Iron Mother was too important to him. After saying this, Xian Mao wanted to chase after it again. Heaven-opening Iron Mother? Dao Lord Strength felt shocked and couldn't help but sigh at Ningqing's dogshit luck. This thing was extremely important to him and Xian Mao. Wait. Even if he wanted the heaven-opening Iron Mother, Dao Lord Strength still stopped Xian Mao. Chapter 1469. Xian Mao looked at Tao Lord Strength in confusion. He knew that it was the Heaven Creation Metal Mother, so why did this senior brother still hold him back? Tao Lord Strength let out a depressed breath and said solemnly, "Junior brother, do you know what this person did before the Chaos Inner Realm opened?" "What?" Xian Mao asked subconsciously. Tao Lord Strength said in a deep voice, "He defeated the Xianhuang Solitary Goose, easily defeated the five-colored Tao Lord and even fought with Tao Lord Chaos without being at a disadvantage." Xian Mao took a deep breath. Although the Xianhuang Solitary Goose's strength had not recovered to its original level, Xian Mao was definitely not a match for him. He was one of the five sacred lords. Even the five-colored Tao Lord was probably not weaker than Xian Mao, let alone the Xianhuang Solitary Goose. As for Tao Lord Chaos, Xian Mao was sure that even if he and his senior brother Tao Lord Strength joined forces, they might not be a match for him. Tao Lord Chaos and Tao Lord Strength were both part of the 10 Tao Lords, but there were differences in strength. Tao Lord Chaos was clearly an expert among the 10 Tao Lords. Is he really that powerful? Xian Mao was filled with doubts. Although his relationship with his senior brother wasn't very good, he knew that his senior brother shouldn't lie to him about this. Tao Lord Strength's tone was simple and direct. He's really that powerful. Seeing Xian Mao's desolate expression, Tao Lord Strength suddenly smiled. But don't worry, we have a way to deal with him. If he can really fight with Tao Lord Chaos, the two of us might not be able to do anything. Xian Mao regained his composure. Not the two of us. Tao Lord Strength raised his hand and set up a soundproof restriction. Apart from the two of us, there's also the Xianhuang Solitary Goose and the five-colored Tao Lord. They will help. Xian Mao was even more puzzled. Before the Xianhuang Solitary Goose's strength was damaged, he was one of the 5 sacred lords. Even Tao Lord Chaos couldn't do anything to him. To be honest, even Tao Lord Strength wouldn't be able to invite such an expert. Such a person wouldn't help even if the benefits were lacking, not to mention there were no benefits. Tao Lord Strength knew what Xian Mao meant and sighed. "We've cultivated for countless years and seen many treasures in the void, but we can't compare to a junior like you. Do you think that Ningqing only has the heaven-opening Mother Iron and the Good Fortune Divine Spear? He also has the 5-colored Star Splitter and the mysterious yellow bead." Xian Mao sucked in a breath of cold air. How could this fellow have so many treasures on him? Immediately, he understood why the mysterious yellow Gaian and the 5-colored Tao Lord would help him. The two of them wanted the mysterious yellow bead and the 5-colored splitter star. Although he also wanted these two things, he knew very well that these two things originally belonged to the Xianhuang Gaian and the 5-colored Tao Lord. He wouldn't be able to live in peace even if he took them. Alright then, between the two of us, one of us wants the Mother Opening Iron, and the other wants that spear. What's the harm in giving the other 2 items to them? Where were the Heavenly Yellow Sacred Leader and the 5-colored Tao Lord? Let's stop Ningqing together. Even if he has great abilities, he would not be able to escape. Xian Mao immediately made up his mind. In his opinion, with the Xianhuang Gaian and 5-colored Tao Lord taking action, coupled with him and Strength Tao Lord, Ningqing could only wait for death no matter how strong he was. Strength Tao Lord waved his hand. "If the 4 of us join forces to stop him, I'm afraid we won't have another chance. Even if the 4 of us join forces, are we still not his match? Is he 5 Elements Sacred Leader, or the Pan Clan?" Strength Tao Lord said with a frown. Strength Tao Lord smiled slightly. 5 Elements Sacred Leader and the Pan Clan have already dissipated from the universe. He naturally isn't one of them. However, if the 4 of us were to face him head-on, even if we could defeat him, we wouldn't be able to kill him. You should know how strong he is from the fact that he snatched a Primordial Chaos Dao Rune. Ningqing snatched the Primordial Chaos Dao Rune. Xian Mao felt a chill run down his back. No matter how conceited he was, he did not dare say that he would snatch the Primordial Chaos Dao Rune from those experts. If Ningqing had really snatched the Primordial Chaos Dao Rune, then Ningqing might really have the strength to kill him. Strength Tao Lord said affirmatively. That's right. He did snatch a Primordial Chaos Dao Rune. Xian Mao's heart suddenly burned with passion. If Ningqing still had Primordial Chaos Dao Lord on him, It would be enough for him if the four of them joined forces to kill Ningcheng. Senior brother, what do you think we should do? Xian Mao no longer had any qualms. Against the primordial chaos Dao runes, what else did he have to worry about? The corners of Strength Dao Lord's mouth curled into a sneer. This person is extremely conceited. The four of us do not need to face him head-on. We can only sneak attack him. For consecutive sneak attacks, even if 5 Elements Sacred Leader revives, he will remain in the Chaos Inner Realm. We will make him spit out whatever he ate. Xian Mao frowned slightly. How could an expert like Ningcheng sneak attack him? Strength Dao Lord continued. There's no need to worry about this. Now that the Chaos Inner Realm has just opened, it's time to search for treasures. Let's search for treasures first. This matter will be led by the Xianhuang solitary goose in the end. All we need to do is assist from the side. Xian Mao nodded slightly and did not speak further. No matter how vast the Chaos Inner Realm's void was, the competition for treasures was extremely intense with so many experts entering. Every single treasure that appeared here was peerlessly rare. There were fights and frantic scrambles everywhere. Since Chasing Bull's speed was too slow, Ningcheng sent Chasing Bull into the mysterious yellow bead to search for treasures in the Chaos Inner Realm. In just half a day, his mysterious yellow bead had accumulated a variety of top-grade artifact crafting materials. He even found a drop of the Chaos Tear. The Chaos Tear was a treasure no worse than the heaven-opening Mother Iron. It was condensed at the beginning of the Primal Chaos, and it was also a top-grade spirit technique that could fuse and comprehend concept-related spirit techniques. In other words, if Ningcheng used the Chaos Tear to fuse with his concept-related spirit techniques, None to Depend On or Sunset's Twilight, it would be several times more powerful than it was now. After fusing with the Chaos Tear, None to Depend On might become Ningcheng's top spirit technique. At that time, even his order-breaking Finger and Traceless Void might fall behind. Once Ningcheng obtained such a thing, it would naturally be akin to obtaining a priceless treasure. In just one day, many experts had already searched through all the top-grade treasures in the Chaos Inner Realm. Apart from the experts who fell here, the experts who obtained the treasures quickly evacuated. Even powerhouses like Primal Chaos Dao Lord had to withdraw immediately. Although there were still many things that had yet to be found, Ningcheng decided to leave. He had already obtained what he wanted, so there was no need to stay here any longer. Ningcheng had just turned around and walked for an incense stick worth of time, when he felt the aura of the Chaos Tear again. Obtaining a drop of the Chaos Tear was already a great joy for Ningcheng. Now that he felt the Chaos Tear again, Ningcheng rushed over without hesitation. Just a moment later, the aura of the Chaos Tear disappeared. Ningcheng stopped in doubt. He clearly felt the aura of the Chaos Tear just now. After waiting for half an incense stick worth of time, the vague aura of the Chaos Tear appeared again. This time, Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness directly locked onto the location of the Chaos Tear. He could clearly see that it was a somewhat broken natural concealment array. No wonder no one found it, which made Ningcheng overjoyed. In this broken natural concealment array, he also found some top-grade artifact crafting materials. If someone found the Chaos Tear, these materials would definitely not exist. Ningcheng didn't hesitate to rush towards the broken natural concealment array. What could be happier than obtaining another drop of the Chaos Tear before leaving? Ningcheng didn't have only the None to Depend On spirit techniques. Among the 7 bridges, the Village Gazing Bridge and Sunset's Twilight were both related to spirit techniques. Something's not right. Just as Ningcheng was about to step into the concealment array, a sense of vigilance suddenly rose in his heart. Cultivating the Tao naturally required luck, but Ningcheng knew that among the people who could come here, which one of them didn't have a strong luck? So why did he sense this drop of the Chaos Tear? Why didn't others sense it? Even if there was a broken natural concealment array, with so many expert spiritual consciousnesses wandering around here, shouldn't they have noticed it? Thinking of this, Ningcheng suddenly stopped and swept out with his spiritual consciousness. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness was so strong that it could penetrate even the most hidden corner. Soon, Ningcheng was convinced that there was no one nearby, nor were there any killing arrays arranged around him. Was he overthinking things? Ningcheng frowned slightly. Chapter 1470. It should be that I am overthinking things, Ning Qing thought to hear without any hesitation, as he stepped into the broken concealment array. The moment Ning Qing stepped in, the broken concealment array suddenly shattered. Not good. Ning Qing immediately realized that someone had plotted against him. Sure enough, the next moment, the broken concealment array turned into a top-grade killing array. Sure enough, a few Dao lights tore through the void and blasted towards him. I can't retreat. Ning Qing understood what to do in the shortest time. The good fortune divine spear in his hand transformed into a spear pattern that protected him outside the domain. The moment he brought out the good fortune divine spear, Ning Qing punched behind him. He didn't know if there was an attack behind him, but he believed that since that person had deliberately set up such a sneak attack, it definitely wouldn't be a frontal attack from the killing array. This kind of frontal attack couldn't even hurt him, so how could it sneak attack him? Sure enough, Ning Qing's fist had just punched out when an octagonal heaven-earth hammer slammed into Ning Qing from behind like a meteorite. As soon as the violent Dao charm hit him, Ning Qing immediately realized who was behind him. Xian Mao. If Xian Mao hadn't plotted against him from behind, Ning Qing might have fought back with all his might. But since Xian Mao appeared behind him, Ning Qing understood that there must be another plot. The one who plotted against him with Xian Mao was Dao Lord Strength. Xian Mao looked handsome and had great strength. But in Ning Qing's impression, he wasn't a master of schemes. When he thought of Dao Lord Strength, Ning Qing started to doubt Dao Lord Strength's thoughts. He and Dao Lord Strength had come into contact before. Although Dao Lord Strength had a more meticulous mind compared to Xian Mao, he probably wasn't as meticulous as Xian Mao. Boom, the Dao charm exploded. No matter how strong Ning Qing was, Xian Mao's all-out attack from the octagonal heaven-earth hammer shattered his fist and turned it into a bloody mess. But Ning Qing didn't care about it at all. His good fortune divine spear couldn't even completely block the incoming killing array attack before it rolled back. The killing array's attack blasted open Ning Qing's domain, which he hadn't fully defended, and tore open several bloody wounds on Ning Qing's waist. 5 lights swept over Ning Qing's head, and the laws of space instantly changed. Ning Qing raised his hand and pointed out with a finger. Nirvana destroyed everything, and the void broke the laws. Boom. Ning Qing's finger blasted open the law space created by the 5-colored spirit light, and the 5-colored Dao monarch also suffered a backlash from the powerful Dao charm aura and flew out. Ning Qing did not even have the time to breathe a sigh of relief when an aura of death descended upon him. In a hurry, Ning Qing quickly brought out the good fortune divine spear. His spiritual sense scanned Dao Lord Strength's figure, and he heaved a sigh of relief. It was Dao Lord Strength's giant seal that came crashing down. As long as he could block the attack of the Dao Monarch of Strength, he would be able to regain his senses. The divine spear of creation collided with the Dao Lord of Strength's gigantic seal. Dao runes exploded once again, and the surroundings were in chaos. At the same time, Ning Qing realized that he had made a mistake. No matter how powerful a sneak attack from a Dao Lord of Strength was, it wouldn't pose a threat to him. What he had sensed just now was the threat of death. It could be seen that apart from the Dao Lord of Strength, there was another person hiding in a corner and plotting against him. 7th Reincarnation Bridge. Ning Qing raised his hand and rolled up the Reincarnation Bridge. The outline of the Reincarnation Bridge had just appeared, and the Dao charm of Samsara hadn't had time to condense yet. A giant monument filled with a vast aura came crashing down. This was the real killer move. What made Ning Qing feel the threat of death wasn't the Dao Lord of Strength's giant seal, but this giant monument. The one who attacked him was the mysterious yellow solitary goose. Ning Qing's eyes turned red, and he suddenly turned around with his back facing the giant monument. Gotcha! Ning Qing's reincarnation bridge, which had yet to take shape, completely shattered under the giant monument. The next moment, the giant monument tore through Ning Qing's realm barrier once again, and blasted towards Ning Qing's back. Ning Qing didn't care about the giant monument at all. Instead, he pointed at the vast void in front of him, and raised his hand to tear it apart. This was his only chance of survival. Bang! The giant monument slammed into Ning Qing's back, and bursts of bone-tearing sounds could be heard. Ning Qing's entire body's bones broke inch by inch at this moment, and the Dao charm all over his body exploded into chaos. Ningcheng should be thankful that the chaos inner realm had been blasted open for some time, and the most primitive chaos aura in the chaos inner realm had dissipated. Otherwise, even if he used all his strength, he wouldn't have been able to blast open the void here. Because the chaos inner realm's aura had dissipated, the chaos inner realm now had all kinds of messy laws, which allowed Ningcheng's finger to tear open a crack. As soon as the crack in the void appeared, Ningcheng rushed in without hesitation. His entire body almost turned into a ray of light and completely disappeared from the crack. Hurry up and chase after him. He doesn't have any combat power at this moment, Xian Mao said anxiously. The mysterious yellow solitary goose appeared and looked at the place where Ningcheng disappeared with a gloomy face. It slowly said, "It's useless. Even if we tear open this place again, it might not necessarily be the positional plane Ningcheng left from. The chaos inner realm now faces endless positional boundaries. We won't be able to find him. This person is too strong." Dao Lord of Strength also sucked in a breath of cold air and wondered if Ningcheng would come looking for him in the future. Five-color Dao Lord clenched his fists and shook his head after a long while. In the future, if you meet this person alone, run as far as you can. His strongest point isn't his strength, but his ability to find the right way in the shortest time. The four of them fell silent. Everyone understood Five-color Dao Lord's words. Ningcheng's temperament was even more terrifying. No matter who it was, when faced with the sudden attack of the trap and kill array, their first reaction would be to quickly retreat. If that was the case, Ningcheng's retreat would be a gift to Xian Mao. Not only did Ningcheng not retreat, but he also punched backwards while bringing out the Good Fortune Divine Spear to block the attack of the trap and kill array. This wasn't the most terrifying thing. The most terrifying thing was that after Ningcheng broke through the five-color Dao Lord's law space, his aura dissipated. At this time, Dao Lord of Strength suddenly launched a sneak attack. Ningcheng should have focused all his energy on Dao Lord of Strength. In this case, the mysterious yellow solitary goose made its final blow. Even if it was Ningcheng facing the mysterious yellow solitary goose's full blow, even if he didn't die, his body would shatter. However, Ningcheng could still bring out half of the reincarnation bridge to block part of the mysterious yellow solitary goose's attack. In fact, even up to this point, it was all within the mysterious yellow solitary goose's calculations. He guessed that Ningcheng wouldn't be easy to kill, so he prepared for Ningcheng to suffer heavy injuries. As long as Ningcheng suffered heavy injuries, facing the four powerhouses in the trap and kill array, even if he hid in the mysterious yellow bead, he would still die. In the end, Ningcheng's choice disappointed Xianhuangyan. Even if Ningcheng's Grand Dao scattered and his bones broke, he still put all his strength into blasting open the chaotic void of the inner realm at the last moment, instead of using it to resist Xianhuangyan's mysterious yellow steel. It turned out that Ningcheng's choice was a success. He managed to escape, albeit with heavy injuries. But it was much better than facing the siege of four powerhouses in the trap and kill array with serious injuries. "I'm leaving." The five-color Dao Lord suddenly no longer had any interest in chasing after Ningcheng. He turned around and disappeared instantly. After the five-color Dao Lord disappeared, the mysterious yellow solitary goose also grabbed the Tear of Chaos and quickly left. "I'm leaving too. If Ningcheng can appear again, don't provoke him in the future." After Dao Lord of Strength finished speaking, he changed directions and quickly left. He was sure that Ningcheng would appear again. They had already calculated that Ningcheng would die this time, but Ningcheng still managed to escape. At this moment, Ningcheng found himself in a void without any spiritual aura. He couldn't think of a way to escape. First, if the mysterious yellow solitary goose and the other three chased after him, he wouldn't be able to escape. Second, he didn't have the ability to do so. At this time, he fully understood the mysterious yellow solitary goose's arrangement. The broken natural concealment array was most likely real. After a little modification by the mysterious yellow solitary goose, it turned into a trap and kill array that could be activated at any time. And the one who activated the trap and kill array was Ningcheng. When he stepped into the broken concealment array, he was equivalent to an array flag. How could he have thought of such a scheme? As for the 4 people who suddenly appeared, they also activated 4 of the teleportation arrays after the trap and kill array took shape. Fortunately, he managed to tear open the void of the chaotic inner realm in time. Otherwise, facing these 4 powerhouses in the trap and kill array, it would have been difficult for him to survive. In any case, he had to take revenge. But now he was so badly injured that he couldn't even cultivate. His Grand Tao was fragmented, and his bones were shattered. Each of the mysterious yellow tablets' Tao charm attacks carried a tearing aura. Even the best treasures of heaven and earth couldn't repair his bones in time. Ningcheng let himself float in the void and recondensed his Tao charm. Condensing the Grand Tao in this void without any laws or spiritual aura was even better than entering the mysterious yellow bead. Chapter 1471. Haha, even you have such a day. In a void at the edge of the chaos, a man stared at an empty space and sneered. Beside him, a beautiful woman in red asked in confusion, "Big brother Tianmu, who is it?" The man turned around and said with a smile, "It's Ningcheng. Someone just schemed against him. Even if he doesn't die, it's tantamount to crippling him." After saying that, the man raised his hand and looked at the iron nail he had just picked up in his hand with a satisfied expression. Congratulations to Big Brother Tianmu for obtaining a creation wood nail. The red-robed woman spoke with a gentle tone and bowed. This man was Qin Mutian from the light and dark cosmos, while the red-robed woman was Zhu Yinghua, who followed Qin Mutian. She had been in Qin Mutian's world until Qin Mutian snatched the primordial chaos Tao runes. Only then did Qin Mutian call her out and look for some opportunities. After hearing Zhu Yinghua's words, Qin Mutian laughed. "Yes, I didn't expect to not only obtain a primordial chaos Tao rune, but also a creation wood nail in this place. Ha ha ha." With these 2 things, even if he lost many things in the Radiance warehouse, it would be enough to compensate. His smile quickly faded and he said with some regret, "Unfortunately, it's just a creation wood nail and not the creation wood. If I had obtained the creation wood..." Qin Mutian didn't continue. He also knew that it was impossible. If he could obtain the creation wood, he wouldn't have waited for Qin Mutian. Zhu Yinghua also echoed and said with regret, "It's really a pity. I heard that the creation wood broke when the primal chaos first formed and split into 2 pieces. One piece gave birth to the Tree of Life, while the other gave birth to the Tree of Life." Qin Mutian smiled slightly. "You're wrong. When the creation wood broke, it didn't split into 2 kinds of trees, but into 5 kinds of trees. The first was the universe tree, the second was the Tree of Life, the third was the chaos tree, the fourth was the nirvana tree, and the fifth was the Tree of Life." Zhu Yinghua quickly said, "The universe tree, the Tree of Life, and the chaos tree are actually the same kind. The nirvana tree and the Tree of Life are also the same kind. Therefore, it's still 2 kinds of trees." Qin Mutian said indifferently, "That's because there are really only 2 types left. It's not like the world tree split into 2 back then. So it doesn't matter what you call them." Zhu Yinghua didn't seem to doubt Qin Mutian's words at all. She quickly nodded and said, "Brother Mutian, I heard that Ningcheng and Yimo each have a branch of the world tree." Qin Mutian looked at the builder wood nail in his hand again and sneered. "So what if they each have a type of tree? My builder wood nail is a chaotic item that hasn't been derived from the builder wood. It's many times stronger than an ordinary divine wood derived from it." At this point, Qin Mutian sighed. "It's a pity that I don't have a creation world treasure. Otherwise, my creation wood nail might have regained its former elegance." Qin Mutian once again thought of Ningcheng and secretly sighed in his heart. When Xianhuangyan and the others plotted against Ningcheng, he had been watching from a distance. Unfortunately, Xianhuangyan and the others failed. If Xianhuangyan and the others succeeded, then he would have killed Xianhuangyan immediately and snatched the mysterious yellow bead. If the mysterious yellow bead was in Ningcheng's hands, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to snatch it away. However, since it was in Xianhuangyan's hands, he was confident that he could snatch it away. Although Xianhuangyan was the first owner of the mysterious yellow bead, her current strength was probably not as good as Ningcheng. "Brother Tianmu, now that you have obtained a primordial chaos Tao rune, You must be going into secluded cultivation. Inghua will also be leaving. In the future, when Brother Tianmu comes out of seclusion, if you want Inghua to serve you, just send me a message. Zhu Inghua once again bowed, her tone filled with reluctance and dependence. Qin Mutian smiled. He walked in front of Zhu Inghua and gently hugged her. He took out a ring and handed it to Zhu Inghua. He said, Inghua, I will come out of seclusion soon. In the future, I will make you extremely satisfied. Take this ring, it will be of some use to you. Zhu Inghua took the ring and showed a soft smile. Brother, I believe in you. I will take my leave first. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to bear to part with you. After that, Zhu Inghua looked at Qin Mutian affectionately again before turning around and leaving quickly. The moment Zhu Inghua disappeared, Qin Mutian's smile also disappeared. He looked in the direction Zhu Inghua left and nodded slightly. This was an extremely smart woman. Just now, he deliberately said that Ningqing suffered heavy injuries because he wanted to see if this woman would ask him to destroy the Grand Essence Realm. But this woman didn't mention it at all. Instead, she said goodbye. Apparently, she was very tactful. At this time, Qin Mutian obtained the Primordial Chaos Dao Rune. The first thing he wanted to do was to integrate the Primordial Chaos Dao Rune and step into the top-grade Grand Dao. At this time, if Zhu Inghua dared to ask him to destroy the Grand Essence Realm and waste his time, he would slap her without hesitation. Since this woman didn't mention it, then after he integrated the Primordial Chaos Dao and comprehended the Primordial Dao of the universe, he would definitely crush the Grand Essence Realm. Zhu Inghua followed him in this chaotic inner world and obtained a lot of benefits. This woman was so smart and possessed a supreme profound Dao physique. Not only did she betray him, but she also hid herself. Her future achievements would definitely not be low. But no matter what this woman did, Qin Mutian wasn't in the mood to destroy the Grand Essence Realm. The most important thing for him was to find a remote place and integrate the Primordial Chaos Dao charm. Not long after Qin Mutian disappeared, Zhu Inghua, who was running in the chaotic inner world, stopped. Her gentle eyes suddenly turned sharp as she stared at the place where Qin Mutian disappeared and said coldly, Is it that easy to sleep with a profound Dao physique? After muttering to herself, Zhu Inghua took a step into the void and disappeared. If Ningcheng saw Zhu Inghua's actions, he would definitely be shocked. Because Zhu Inghua's speed wasn't any slower than Dao Monarch's star. Grand Essence Realm. It had been nearly 100,000 years since Ningcheng left this place. In the past 100,000 years, too many things had happened in Grand Essence. No matter how many things had happened, the Grand Essence Dao Court had become stronger and stronger. Even Li Feng had officially entered the Dao integration realm. At this moment, in the meeting hall of the mysterious Yellow Sect's main peak, Ning Ruolin, Chu Manhe, Dao Monarch Proud Dance, and Aokin were all silent. After a while, Ning Ruolin asked again, Big brother Aokin, did my brother really go to the chaotic inner world back then? Aokin nodded and said solemnly, That's the news I got from Heavens Beyond. I heard that many people obtained supreme treasures in Heavens Beyond. Did those who entered the chaotic inner world appear? Ning Ruolin asked anxiously without waiting for Aokin to finish speaking. Aokin shook his head. No, but I'm sure someone came out. Otherwise, how could this news have spread? Seeing that Aokin seemed to want to say something, Ning Ruolin frowned and said, Big brother Aokin, you and my brother are like brothers. What else can't you tell me? Aokin sighed. There is indeed one thing, but I don't know if it's true or not. Big brother Aokin, Aunt Proud Dance and Sister Manhe are not outsiders. Ning Ruolin nodded and said to Aokin. Aokin hesitated for a long time before he made up his mind and said, Ruolin, don't worry. Although I heard that a few experts in the chaotic inner world schemed to attack Big Brother, they didn't manage to kill him. Ning Ruolin suddenly stood up. Not only her tone, but even her fingers trembled slightly as she said, Big brother Aokin, do you mean that my brother was plotted against in the chaotic inner world back then and was severely injured? Aokin hurriedly said, Ruolin, don't worry. Rumor has it that Big Brother was plotted against and left with severe injuries. Firstly, this is just a rumor. Secondly, even if it's true, Big Brother will definitely be fine with his ability. Ning Ruolin said with red eyes. But it's been almost 100,000 years, and there's no news about Big Brother. It's not just Big Brother. There's also no news about the others who entered the chaotic inner world. Aokin explained. No, I have to find Big Brother right away. Ning Ruolin could no longer sit still and spoke up anxiously. Aokin walked out of his seat and spoke to Ning Ruolin with a straight face. Ruolin, even if you want to find Big Brother, it should be me. I have more experience in the outside world than you. And my cultivation is also higher. What's more, this is the foundation left behind by Big Brother. Don't go. Ning Ruolin's face turned red and was about to speak when she suddenly heard another trembling voice. Ruolin, Big Brother Aokin is right. You can't go. I'll go. Big Sister Luofei, did you come out? Ning Ruolin quickly took a few steps forward and hugged Ji Luofei. She couldn't help but sob. Even if she cultivated for a long time and improved her strength, she still couldn't give up on her big brother. Ji Luofei held back the anxiety in her heart and patted Ning Ruolin's shoulder. Ruolin, don't worry. I vaguely feel that your brother will be fine. Moreover, my strength has also reached the late-stage primordial chaos realm, so I have the ability to walk outside. Didn't your brother say that? Flowers raised at home can never withstand the wind outside. Taisu has too many enemies. If we continue to stay here and cultivate in seclusion, I'm afraid we won't be able to help much if something happens to Taisu in the future. Because this place is very important to us, Ruolin, you have to stay here. Big Sister Luofei, I'll go with you. Another voice came. Ning Ruolin looked at the woman in a cyan dress standing at the door and quickly asked, Big Sister Yen, did you also come out? Your cultivation. Although Ning Ruolin was still at the late-stage Dao Essence realm, she could feel that Yanji's strength was a level higher than Big Sister Luofei's. Without waiting for Ruolin to speak, Chu Manha spoke up. Yanji, congratulations. You've succeeded in Dao integration, and are a little closer to the third step. You've reached Dao integration? Ruolin asked in surprise. However, she immediately recalled her big brother, and the surprise on her face instantly froze. Yanji walked to Ruolin's side and gently hugged Ruolin. Ruolin, I haven't really slept with your brother yet. He must be fine. After Big Sister Luofei and I leave, I'll leave this place to you. Everyone understood what Yanji meant. That is, even if she died, she would still be Ning City's people. This time, she had to go out and find Ning City. Chapter 1472. At this moment, a messenger flying sword flew in with a sharp whistling sound. Aokin stood up and grabbed the messenger flying sword. At this moment, everyone also stood up. Only the most important messenger flying swords could be sent to this hall. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come in. Aokin didn't look at the message on the messenger flying sword, but handed it over to Ning Ruolin. Ning Ruolin opened the restrictions on the messenger flying sword, and a voice came over. Outside the mysterious yellow sect, a person named Shiqianqi has an urgent matter regarding Qianghua. Sister Qianghua? Ning Ruolin looked at Ji Luofei and the others and asked in surprise. Although Qianghua hadn't come to the mysterious yellow sect, Ji Luofei and the others naturally knew about her. Among the most important people in Ning Cheng's heart, Qianghua was definitely one of them. Shiqianqi is the top elder of the 9 revolving sacred Dao Pond. Is she related to Sister Qianghua? Ning Ruolin asked in doubt. Although she asked, she had already sent out a message to invite Shiqianqi in. Yanji explained from the side. I heard that she is Sister Qianghua's first life's mother. After just a dozen breaths, a haggard beautiful woman appeared at the entrance of the hall. Luofei greet Senior. Ji Luofei quickly came forward to greet her, followed by Ning Ruolin and Yanji. In any case, Shiqianqi was Qianghua's mother. In terms of politeness, Ji Luofei, Yanji, and the others should respect her. However, Ji Luofei's respect also contained a hint of distance. The way she addressed her as Senior and Auntie were obviously different. Yanji, your cultivation. Shiqianqi looked at Yanji and felt shocked for a long time. When she first noticed Yanji, what was Yanji's cultivation? She hadn't even entered the eternal realm. But now, Yanji's Dao charm flowed around her, indicating that her strength had far surpassed her. According to her experience, She definitely had reached the Tao integration realm. She was an existence that Yanji had to look up to in the past, but now she was still lingering in the primordial chaos realm. Yanji bowed again and didn't speak. She had no feelings for the 9 revolving sacred Tao pond. One could even say that she hated this place. Shi Qianqi quickly recovered. She also knew that Yanji wouldn't have a good impression of her. Therefore, she took the initiative to congratulate Yanji. She then turned to Ji Luofei and said, "Fairy Luofei, I wonder if Tao Lord Ning has returned? Can I see him?" Ji Luofei looked at Shi Qianqi in doubt. "Senior, why are you looking for my husband?" Shi Qianqi completely ignored her identity as a senior and bowed to Ji Luofei and Ning Ruolin. "Tao Lord Ning, please save Qianghua." "What's wrong with Sister Qianghua?" Ning Ruolin and Ji Luofei simultaneously asked in surprise. Shi Qianqi quickly said, "When Qianghua reached the peak of Tao unification, she went to the 9 revolutions sacred Tao Pond's path of severing emotions and samsara, preparing to step into the 3rd step. But after she went in, she never came out again. Tao Lord Ning, please save Qianghua. Severing emotions and samsara Tao." Ji Luofei subconsciously repeated the words. "Yes, this is my 9 revolving sacred Tao Pond's severing emotions samsara Tao. It's in the Great Change realm. I can take Tao Lord Ning there." Shi Qianqi quickly replied. Yanji looked at Shi Qianqi in shock. Although she wasn't even the lowest level disciple of the 9 revolutions sacred Tao Pond, she had heard of the 9 revolutions sacred Tao Pond's Tao of severing emotions and samsara. It was the most mysterious and noblest place in the 9 revolutions sacred Tao Pond. Even in the entire sect, only a few people knew about it. Yet, Shi Qianqi was willing to talk about the Tao of severing emotions and samsara. From this, it showed that she truly couldn't let go of Sister Qianghua. Yanji didn't think wrong. Before Shi Qianghua entered the Tao of severing emotions and samsara, she even wanted to push Shi Qianghua into it. But after Shi Qianghua went in and never came out, she felt a little regretful in her heart. If one entered the Tao of severing emotions and never came out, there was only one possibility. That was one's spirit soul perished. After waiting outside the Tao of severing emotions and samsara for tens of thousands of years, Shi Qianqi finally believed that something had happened to Qianghua. At this time, she didn't think of asking Ningcheng for help. But after she saw the great changes in the Great Change realm, she realized that the Great Change realm had undergone many changes over the past tens of thousands of years, and the abyss's demonic creatures had looted it. If it weren't for Ningcheng, the Great Change realm would have already become a barren land. After Ningcheng destroyed the demonic creatures in the Great Change realm, the Great Change realm imitated the Grand Essence realm and established a new world order. Ningcheng's symbolic statue stood in the center of the Great Change realm and received the respect of all the people of the Great Change realm. Only at this time did Shi Qianqi think of asking Ningcheng for help. Once she asked Ningcheng for help, she had to tell Ningcheng the location of the Tao of severing emotions and samsara. Because of this, Shi Qianqi felt a little numb from the torment. In the end, she chose to go into secluded cultivation. After tens of thousands of years, Shi Qianqi's cultivation not only didn't make any progress, but the cracks in her grand Tao grew bigger and bigger. It wasn't until this time that Shi Qianqi made up her mind to leave the Great Change realm and return to Grand Essence to ask Ningcheng for help. To make up her mind to ask Ningcheng for help, she didn't even return to the 9 revolutions sacred Tao Pond. After listening to Shi Qianqi's words, everyone understood that Qianghua had an accident because of severing emotions. From this, it could be seen that before Qianghua's accident, Shi Qianqi had wanted Qianghua to sever all relations with Ningcheng. Everyone fell silent. If Ningcheng were in the mysterious yellow sect, they would have naturally told Ningcheng about it. But now Ningcheng wasn't in the mysterious yellow sect, and they didn't even know if he was dead or alive. Moreover, Qianghua had already reached the 3rd step of severing emotions. Most likely, she had already severed all the feelings between her and Ningcheng. Seeing everyone remain silent, Shi Qianqi's heart sank. Most likely, Ningcheng had truly forgotten about Shi Qianghua. It would be difficult to ask Ningcheng for help. Unfortunately, apart from Ningcheng, She couldn't find anyone else who could help Shi Qianghua. Several fairies, whether Dao Lord Ning is willing to help or not. As long as you can help me make an appointment with Dao Lord Ning, I would be satisfied. Shi Qianqi spoke with almost a hint of pleading. Ji Luofei sighed. Sister Qianghua is in trouble. Even if you don't say it, my husband should still help. It's just that Senior might not know that when the chaotic inner realm opened, my husband also went to the chaotic inner realm. Moreover, he hasn't returned yet. I'm about to find my husband. Hearing Ji Luofei's explanation, Shi Qianqi felt dumbfounded. How could she save Qianghua without Ning Cheng's whereabouts? What was the chaotic inner realm? How many things had happened to her over the years? In the vast void, Ning Cheng, who had been sitting cross-legged in front of the starry sky wheel, finally opened his eyes. Although he didn't know how many years had passed, Ning Cheng guessed that it was no less than tens of thousands of years. Over the years he had only managed to restore a part of his Dao charm, and could barely cultivate. As for his injuries, they had only improved a little. However, Ning Cheng didn't worry about it. It was more than enough for him to condense the Dao charm. As long as he found a quiet place and merged with the primordial Dao charm, not only could he fully recover from his injuries, but his control over the Dao would also reach a new level. This void didn't have any spirit qi or any worldly Dao charm laws. Ning Cheng had been here for many years, but he hadn't encountered any major dangers. The biggest danger he faced was the occasional meteorites. For Ning Cheng, this place wasn't suitable for him to condense the Dao and integrate the primordial Dao charm. Given his current condition, it was unrealistic for him to leave this part of the void. Taking a step back, even if he could tear through the void and leave this place, he might end up facing another similar void. If he hadn't severed his Dao, it would have been best to condense and integrate the primordial Dao in the mysterious yellow bead. But now that Ning Cheng's Dao had already surpassed the mysterious yellow bead, he couldn't go to the mysterious yellow bead to condense the Dao. He didn't even go to the mysterious yellow bead to heal himself, because he feared that his Dao would be affected by the mysterious yellow bead. Master, have you recovered from your injuries? Chasing Bull's surprised voice came over. Ning Cheng saw Chasing Bull standing inside the starry sky wheel and asked, Chasing Bull, didn't you stay in the mysterious yellow bead to cultivate? After Ning Cheng suffered severe injuries and ended up in this unknown void, he had asked Chasing Bull to bring out the starry sky wheel. Then he stayed in the void to heal while Chasing Bull entered the mysterious yellow bead to cultivate. The starry sky wheel had a defensive array, so even if there was any danger, he would still have some leeway. But because he didn't know how many years it would take to heal himself, he decided to let Chasing Bull enter the mysterious yellow bead. Chasing Bull spoke up with a flattering expression. I was worried about Master's safety and stayed by your side to guard you. Only when Master grows strong can this little bull show its might. Ning Cheng felt touched, and stood up to pat Chasing Bull's head. Not everyone could guard a void devoid of God's spirit qi, for tens of thousands of years, without any traces of human beings. Not to mention the lively Chasing Bull. Chasing Bull had too many bad habits, such as a dog relying on its master's power, being afraid of death, bullying others. But it also had one of its biggest strengths, and that was growing more and more loyal. Chasing Bull, for so many years you stayed outside to protect me. It must have been hard on you. Ning Cheng said with a sigh. Chasing Bull showed a loyal expression and spoke up. Being able to protect Master, not to mention not making any progress in cultivation. Even if my cultivation kept falling, it would still be Chasing Bull's luck. Although it spoke with a firm tone, Chasing Bull felt happy in its heart. Not only did it not need to cultivate, but it also received praise from its master. It felt wonderful. The only downside was that the place where its master healed was a desolate place. If it were in a lively place, then even if its master healed for 1,000,000 years, it would still feel happy. Ning Cheng knew about the intestines in Chasing Bull's belly, but he didn't point it out. Instead, he spoke up again. I'm looking for a quiet and stable place to go into seclusion. I'm afraid this side of the void doesn't have. Chasing Bull didn't wait for Ning Cheng to finish and spoke up loudly. Master, we passed by an uninhabited planet more than a decade ago. That planet is huge. If Master doesn't have any requirements for spirit qi or the Tao charm of heaven and earth laws, then that place is the best place for seclusion. Hearing Chasing Bull's words, Ningqing felt pleasantly surprised. This place felt tailor-made for him to fuse with the primordial Tao charm. Chasing Bull, hurry up and push the starry sky wheel to its maximum speed. Yes, Master. Chasing Bull finished speaking and immediately went to take control of the starry sky wheel. Chapter 1473. The Grand Essence Ruins. Whether it was before Ningqing rebuilt the Grand Essence Tao Court, or after Ningqing united many experts from the Grand Essence realm to establish the Grand Essence Tao Court, it had always been a lively and prosperous place. At this moment, the Grand Essence Tao Court had grown even more powerful. Plus, the Grand Essence Ruins no longer had the restrictions of the 10 million Grand Essence domain. Everyone could come and go freely, making the Grand Essence Ruins even more prosperous and lively. Compared to the previous hustle and bustle, this place was more orderly due to the laws of the Tiansu Tao Court. At the very least, there were no brazen and shameless people. No matter how good the laws and order were, the law of the jungle would never disappear. In the Grand Essence Ruins, the law of the jungle was even more powerful. The Grand Essence Ruins public square was bustling with all kinds of people. The Grand Essence Ruins quest hall was packed with people. A woman in gray robes walked into the Grand Essence Ruins quest hall, with a long sword on her back. This woman clearly wore gray robes and didn't wear any makeup. However, as soon as she entered the Grand Essence Ruins quest hall, she attracted the attention of many people. Not for anything else, but because this woman was just too beautiful. If it weren't for the fact that the Taisu Palace was in control, someone would have gone up to talk to this woman. Not only was this woman beautiful, but her cultivation was also very ordinary. It seemed like she had yet to reach Tao sculpting. She could only be considered a half-step Tao sculpting. Please help me apply for a black card for the quest hall. The gray-clothed woman seemed to have inquired about the procedures of the mission hall. Once she entered the mission hall, she went straight to the place where the mission card was handled. All right. May I know your identity? The cultivator in charge of handling the quest card in the quest hall asked politely. Everyone knew that there were no requirements for this identity. You could report your sect, your rogue cultivator, or even a code name. Rogue cultivator Lan Shu. The gray-robed woman spoke in a clear voice, before taking out 1,000 spirit crystals and handing them over. Okay, please wait a moment. The cultivator handling the assignment card, in just a few breaths of time, engraved a rogue cultivator Lan Shu's black assignment card, and simultaneously handed the black assignment card to the gray-robed woman called Lan Shu. Tao friend Lan, you can now go and accept the assignment. When your points reach 100,000, you can exchange for a white card. Many thanks. Lan Shu put away the quest card, as she turned around and walked towards the quest hall's array formation screen to carefully look at it. Tao friend Lan, do you also want to go to the Grand Essence Ruins Burial Shadow Blue Sand? Why don't we team up and go? Many treasures have appeared in the Blue Shadow Burial Sands recently. Lan Shu had just arrived in front of the assignments hall's array formation display, when a man came over and asked in a very enthusiastic manner. Lan Shu shook her head and spoke. Thank you, I do not intend to go anywhere. I just want to look around. Finished speaking, Lan Shu turned around and walked away. She hadn't reached Tao sculpting yet, but she could sense that the man in front of her was much stronger than her. He had probably reached the primordial Tao realm. It doesn't matter. I think it's fate that brought us together. The man didn't seem to mind at all, and continued to speak enthusiastically. Lan Shu stopped, as she stared at the man's face that was covered with a Tao scar imprint because of his cultivation. As her complexion turned cold and she spoke. We do not know each other. Please step aside. Friends go from not knowing each other to getting to know each other. The man with a cultivation mark on his face was not discouraged at all. He already said that he doesn't know you. Don't you have any shame? Another voice sounded, this time with a tone of ridicule. Following this mocking voice, a man in red walked over. This man in red had a powerful aura around him. Apparently, his strength was not any weaker than the man with the Tao scar imprint on his face. The man with the Dao scar imprint on his face immediately turned cold. Who are you? You dare to meddle in my affairs. After that, he did not wait for the other party to answer, and took the initiative to speak again. I don't need you to ask me who I am. I will just tell you directly, my name is Qi Lin. Who is Qi Lin? Do any of you know? Ha ha. The man in red laughed loudly. After his laughter, several people followed suit. Who was Qi Lin? No one had heard of him. Qi Lin gave a cold snort and spoke. My reputation naturally can't compare to my uncle. It doesn't matter if you have not heard of me. Then who is your uncle? The man in red still spoke with disdain. My uncle is not anyone. He is called Qi Qingshui. Qi Lin spoke with a faint voice. The man in red laughed again. Qi Qingshui, I still don't know. The man in red did not continue laughing this time. After speaking a few words, he suddenly paused. Qi Qingshui was ranked third in the mysterious Yellow Heavens Beyond Heaven's great tournament. Qi Lin said proudly. That's right, my uncle is indeed someone you don't like. Since you have such sharp eyes, you must have an extraordinary background. May I know your name, Taoist? I can also report to my uncle. Upon hearing this, the man in red did not even think of speaking. He turned around and squeezed into the crowd, disappearing instantly. There were probably very few people here who did not know who Qi Qingshui was. During the mysterious Yellow Heavens Beyond Heaven's great tournament, Dao Lord Ning Cheng of the Great Simplicity Realm had obtained one of the best territories. Dao Lord Ning Cheng was also a respected existence in the entire Great Simplicity Realm. He was an unreachable expert in the eyes of ordinary people. Qi Qingshui, who had been able to compete with Ning Cheng and ranked third in the mysterious Yellow Heavens Beyond Heaven, had naturally risen in status. Even if Ning Cheng had not participated in the mysterious Yellow Heavens Beyond Heaven, he could not erase Qi Qingshui's strength in blacksmithing. Qi Qingshui had also become famous after one battle. If one wanted to ask him to blacksmith in mysterious Yellow Heavens Beyond, he would not do it without sufficient sincerity. Even if one was sincere enough, one would still need to have a favor to recommend him before he would help. This showed how high Qi Qingshui's status in mysterious Yellow Heavens Beyond was. Now that Qi Lin said that Qi Qingshui was his uncle, who would dare to offend Qi Lin? One could be sure that Qi Lin had come to the Great Simplicity Realm because of Qi Qingshui. Glancing at the fleeing man in red with disdain, Qi Lin once again said to Lan Shu in a pleasant tone, Daoist Lan, when we go to mysterious Yellow Heavens Beyond in the future, I will ask my uncle to help you refine a handy magic weapon. As soon as Qi Lin said this, many people around him showed envy in their eyes. Who would not want a magic weapon refined by Qi Qingshui? Some people even dreamed of a magic weapon refined by Qi Qingshui. This time, Lan Shu did not even bother to reply. She just turned around and left. It was best to ignore people like Qi Lin. Qi Lin followed without hesitation. In that case, let's go. I don't know you. Let's go our separate ways. After Lan Shu finished speaking, she turned around and changed direction again. Qi Qingshui once again followed and even used his hand to stop Lan Shu. Lan Shu's face turned cold. Get out of the way. If you continue to be so rude, I will call for help. Qi Lin spoke up softly. Why bother? There are a lot of people here, and the burial Shadow Blue Sand has a lot of treasures. If we work together, we will definitely gain a lot. Get lost. Lan Shu had an extremely unyielding temperament. She had been enduring it until now. Qi Lin's face turned cold. A junior insulting a senior. Do you know how to deal with it under the laws of the Grand Simplicity Realm? Lan Shu didn't know anything about the laws of the Grand Simplicity Realm. She just took a step back and held her waist with her left hand. The long sword on her back was just for decoration. Many female cultivators carried a long sword on their back. Her real magic weapon wasn't this long sword but in her ring. At this moment, Lan Shu was ready to take action at any time. Ah! Qi Lin laughed on seeing this. It's the first time I've seen someone dare to take the initiative to attack a senior in the Grand Essence Quest public square. After saying this, Qi Lin cupped his fists towards the depths of the quest hall and said, Deacon Huang, I didn't do anything or insult her. But this junior took the initiative to attack me. Can I take her away? A slightly shrill voice came over. Yes, you can take her away. But you must not harm her life. Everyone understood the meaning of this sentence. Qi Lin's smile faded and he spoke up with a cautious expression. Deacon Huang, rest assured. I just want to take her away to apologize. I will never harm her life. Lan Shu wanted to bring out a weapon, but unfortunately, the gap between her and Qi Lin's strength was too big. Qi Lin's domain bound her, and she couldn't even move a muscle. If you dare to touch me, my younger brother will definitely avenge me. Lan Shu screamed. Even if she had to die, she wouldn't let this person ruin her innocence. Qi Lin laughed again. Will your younger brother do anything to me? Let him come. I want to see how he plans on doing anything to me. She's right. If you dare to touch even a strand of her hair, not to mention a wild dog like you, Qi Lin, even your clan uncle Qi Chengshui, or even the Three Essence Tool Sacred Sect wouldn't be able to bear the anger of her younger brother. Another cold voice rang out, followed by a woman in a white dress. This woman looked like a celestial fairy, as if she had walked out of a painting. Although she wasn't as beautiful as Lan Shu, she knew how to package herself better than Lan Shu. Chapter 1474. Qi Lin's eyes lit up. This woman wasn't any weaker than the gray-robed woman in front of him, and she even knew how to dress up. Wearing a white robe, she looked even more elegant and fairy-like. It gave people a feeling that they could only look at her from afar. Once they got close, it would be blasphemy. Who are you? While looking at the woman in the white robe, Qi Lin asked. After asking this question, Qi Lin felt that something was wrong. This woman's cultivation should be higher than his. Otherwise, why did she look a bit blurry? May I ask for this Dao friend's name? Qi Lin immediately changed his attitude and politely cupped his fists. Many of the surrounding cultivators quietly retreated after seeing the woman in the white robe. Apparently, they felt afraid of this woman in the white robe. You're not qualified to ask me. The woman in the white robe spoke up coldly. After speaking, she no longer looked at Qi Lin and turned towards Lan Shu. Master Shu. The cold expression on the woman in the white robe finally faded, and a soft smile appeared on her face. Wuxia, why are you? Lan Shu looked at the woman in front of her in amazement. She didn't expect Nalan Wuxia to appear in this place. Not only that, but Nalan Wuxia seemed to be much stronger than her. Back in Le Continent, Nalan Wuxia's strength was far inferior to hers. But now, her strength was far inferior to Nalan Wuxia's. Life circumstances were truly unpredictable. Lan Shu had always thought that her cultivation progress was fast, and she also had good opportunities. That's why she managed to break through the eternal realm in just 100,000 years, and take a half-step into the Dao sculpting realm. Nalan Wuxia's cultivation was clearly much higher than hers. Master Shu, I didn't expect to see you here. It's really unbelievable. Nalan Wuxia spoke with a sigh, her eyes recalling the Master Shu that no one dared to approach. But now Lan Shu's strength was much lower than hers. Wuxia, what's your cultivation? Lan Shu couldn't see through Nalan Wuxia's strength at all. She could only feel the majestic aura coming from her. Nalan Wuxia didn't hide it. Because I obtained some opportunities in the Grand Essence Ruins, I'm already at the Full Circle Dao Fusion realm. I'm about to leave the Grand Essence Ruins to prepare for Dao unification. Lan Shu's eyes showed a slight unnaturalness. In this world where strength reigned supreme, she didn't know how to address Nalan Wuxia. If she called her Wuxia, it would be a bit inappropriate. If she didn't call her Wuxia, she would feel awkward calling her senior. Nalan Wuxia seemed to have noticed Lan Shu's uneasiness and quickly spoke up. Elder Sister Shu, I plan to go to another world to re-establish the Defying Ice sect. Would you like to come with me? Lan Shu looked at Nalan Wuxia in doubt. Isn't the Grand Essence realm good? Why do you want to go to another realm? Nalan Wuxia hesitated for a while, but didn't explain the real reason. Instead, she said, the Grand Essence realm's heaven and earth laws are still a bit broken. I want to go to a more complete place. I heard that the Grand Change realm's laws are more complete than before. Lan Shu did not directly answer Nalan Wuxia's words, and once again asked, Do you have any news about Ningcheng? Nalan Rushua nodded. I know. In fact, even if you ask a random person, the other party would also know who Ningcheng is. He was the one who established the Taisu Palace, and the order here was set by him. In the Grand Essence realm, Ning City isn't just a name, but a symbol. At this point, Nalan Rushua sighed inwardly. She didn't want to stay in the Grand Essence realm, because of Ningcheng. But if she went to the Grand Change realm, would she be able to leave Ningcheng's territory? She had been to the Grand Change realm before, and just like the Grand Essence realm, Ningcheng's name was also a symbol. Unfortunately, her strength was still too weak. Before reaching Dao unification, she didn't have many choices. Lan Shu's eyes flashed with surprise. Within the 4 grand starry skies, Ningcheng was a legend. She didn't expect that Ningcheng would still be so famous after coming to the Grand Essence realm. Lan Shu really didn't read the wrong person. Pearls would always shine. Nalan Rushua saw the surprise in Lan Shu's eyes and sighed in her heart. Elder sister Shu, if you also like Ningcheng, I'm afraid you would end up like me. Thinking of this, Nalan Rushua suddenly felt a little jealous of Yanji. Back then, she and Yanji were Le Continent's twin lotus flowers, and they both had the same beauty. Why did Ningcheng choose Yanji and not her, Nalan Rushua? Back in the Grand Essence ruins, she had taken the initiative to embrace Ningcheng and court him, but Ningcheng still rejected her so cruelly. But that was in a world of ice and snow. How many women could court a man they liked in a world of ice and snow like her? How could she not do it? How was Yanji better than her? When it came to skin, she was even better than Yanji. But today, Yanji could accompany Ningcheng, while she, Nalan Rushua, could only stay away from the Grand Essence realm. Lan Shu looked at the unwillingness and anger in Nalan Rushua's eyes and asked in doubt, Rushua, what's the matter? Rushua no longer called out as naturally as before. Nalan Rushua had changed too much. If it were in the past, facing Qi Lin, who was weaker than her, she would have already taken action. Nalan Rushua recovered, and the jealousy in her eyes disappeared. She spoke up with a lonely voice. Elder sister Shu, if possible, I suggest you leave this place with me. Don't like him. Lan Shu frowned slightly. Rushua, what nonsense are you talking about? Ningcheng is just like a younger brother in my eyes. Speaking of Ningcheng, Lan Shu's heart calmed down. Ningcheng's strength should be far stronger than hers, but when she addressed Ningcheng directly, she didn't feel so awkward and felt that it was normal. I'm sorry, elder sister Shu, because I like Ningcheng so. Nalan Rushua's eyes dimmed, and her tone became even more depressed. Calling her elder sister Shu, compared to calling her master Shu, made Lan Shu feel a bit closer. Even the awkwardness in front of Nalan Rushua also reduced by a lot. Lan Shu pulled Nalan Rushua. Rushua, let's find a place to sit down and talk. Nalan Rushua saw that there were too many people around. She quickly nodded and walked out of the quest hall with Lan Shu. Qi Lin, who was watching Lan Shu and Nalan Rushua leave, did not dare to find trouble with Nalan Rushua. He could see that Nalan Rushua had a good reputation here. Moreover, Nalan Rushua's strength was much stronger than his. Elder sister Shu, although I don't fear that Qi Lin, I can't do anything to him. His uncle Qi Qingshui's name is indeed very big enough to affect many of the powerhouses in the mysterious yellow heavens beyond. Nalan Rushua walked into a rest stop with Lan Shu and spoke. Lan Shu felt even more puzzled, but she did not ask Nalan Rushua. Nalan Rushua didn't wait for Lan Shu to ask and explained that Qi Qingshui only participated in the mysterious yellow heavens beyond great tournament with elder brother Ningcheng and got 3rd place. Yet he is already so famous. Elder sister Shu, you can imagine the prestige and reputation of Ningcheng, who established the Grand Essence Dao Court and won the 1st place in the mysterious yellow heavens beyond great tournament. Don't look at Qi Lin's arrogance. If elder brother Ning came, I'm afraid he wouldn't even dare to make a sound. In that case, even if you touched that Qi Lin, it wouldn't matter, right? Lan Shu finally asked. Nalan Rushua's eyes once again showed that lonely bitterness. Ningcheng might have already forgotten about me. Besides, he rarely appears. Even if Qi Qingshui ordered people to kill me, Nalan Rushua, he might not even know about it. Qi Chengshui himself is a powerhouse who recently stepped into the third step. He could just call anyone to kill me. Lan Shu felt a little unhappy. She felt that Ning Cheng wasn't such a person. Nalan Rushua didn't seem to care about Lan Shu's unhappiness and continued. That year, Yanji and I suffered at the same time. As a result, we found the teleportation array to the Grand Essence realm. I gave up the opportunity to go to the Grand Essence ruins to Yanji. Later, I went to the Border Essence Sea to survive. But I didn't expect to see Ning Cheng there. Nalan Rushua's eyes turned fiery. Elder Sister Shu, did you know? The moment I saw Ning Cheng, I felt an impulse in my heart. But Ning Cheng's calm attitude made me feel as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over my heart. Later, he took me to the Grand Essence ruins. He took me to the Defying Ice Mound. In the land of ice and snow, I begged him to make love. At that time, as long as he wanted, I would never leave him. But he rejected me. I hated his indifference, and I couldn't continue to be with him anymore. I took my inheritance and left him. I never saw him again after that. At this point, Nalan Rushua grew even more excited, and her hands trembled. Elder Sister Shu, you know Yanji. She's the same as me. What's better than me? Why does Ning Cheng like her and not me? I hid alone in the world of ice and snow to cultivate, while Yanji followed him. Looking at Nalan Rushua getting more and more excited, it seemed that if she didn't vent her inner unwillingness, she would find it hard to control herself. Lan Shu also sighed and interrupted Nalan Rushua's words. Rushua, although I don't know what happened between you two later, but do you know who I would choose if I had to choose? Oh. Nalan Rushua finally recovered, but still couldn't help but ask. Lan Shu didn't answer directly, but said, I heard that in the Lu Continent's Law's Way, you wanted to connive with others to kill Ning Cheng, who had low cultivation. It was Yanji who stood up and stopped them. But Elder Sister Shu, at that time, I didn't know Ning Cheng at all. Moreover, there was a misunderstanding between the two sides. How can this be mixed up? Nalan Rushua quickly explained. Lan Shu shook her head. Ning Cheng saved you, but you misunderstood him. Ning Cheng did not do anything to Yanji, but Yanji still stood up and helped him. This is just a reflection of something else. I understand Ning Cheng's temperament. He is a sentimental person. This has nothing to do with misunderstandings. Nalan Rushua turned silent. She understood the meaning of Lan Shu's words. In other words, if she and Yanji were to exchange places, Yanji would not misunderstand Ning Cheng. Lan Shu continued. This is just a small matter. I heard that in the Blood River Mountains of the Law's Way, Ning Cheng saved them but did not come out. Yanji did not hesitate to jump in, just to look for Ning Cheng. Moreover, when Yanji came out of the Law's Way, her mind was not clear. But when her big sister wanted to make a move on Ning Cheng, she just said a few words. Whoever makes a move on him, I will kill them. Chapter 1475. Lan Rushua remained silent. She knew all this, but in her opinion, it didn't matter. If she had liked Ning Cheng at that time, she would have done the same. Seeing Nalan Rushua silent, Lan Shu spoke up. If it were me, I would also choose Yanji. Lan Shu always spoke straightforwardly. At this time, she didn't even consider Nalan Rushua's strength. Feeling that her words were too direct, Lan Shu asked again. Rushua, do you know where Ning Cheng is now? In the Grand Essence realm? Nalan Rushua shook her head. I heard that he left the Grand Essence realm. No one knows where he is. Lan Shu felt surprised and was about to speak when a voice that almost repeated Lan Shu's words interrupted her. If it were me, I would also choose Yanji. Nalan Rushua suddenly stood up. Who is it? She was a Dao fusion powerhouse and about to step into Dao integration. How could she not know that someone had come to their booth? Nalan Rushua immediately understood that this person was not in her booth, but rather outside her booth. Although she had set up a soundproof restriction, the person who could hear her through the soundproof restriction was definitely an expert stronger than her. Nalan Rushua greets Senior. I wonder what Senior wants to ask. Nalan Rushua quickly cupped her fists. The restriction on the booth's door opened automatically, and a woman stood at the door. She couldn't tell her age, but she seemed old and young at the same time. As for her appearance, she could only be described as ordinary. My name is Shuriqing. The woman smiled slightly and walked in. It turns out to be Senior Shur from the 9 Revolutions Sacred Dao Pond. Nalan has neglected you. Nalan Rushua bowed again. Don't look at her as a Dao fusion cultivator. Only one level lower than Shuriqing's Dao integration realm. Every cultivator knew how difficult it was to surpass this level. What's more, Shuriqing was the strongest person in the 9 Revolutions Sacred Dao Pond. The 9 Revolutions Sacred Dao Pond was one of the 3 sacred sects in the Grand Essence realm. Since Ziqiu didn't appear in the Grand Essence Dao Court, Shuriqing could be said to be one of the few people standing at the top of the Grand Essence realm. Shuriqing nodded. It looks like the inheritance you got is quite impressive. You have ice-attributed Dao charm flowing around you. Your future achievements will far surpass mine. Let's call each other Dao friends. Yes, Daoist friend Yiqing. Nalan Rushua didn't say much and directly changed the way she addressed Shuriqing. It wasn't that she wanted to show off, but rather that she represented the future ruler of the Defying Ice Mound. Before the battle in the Grand Essence realm, the Defying Ice Mound had a much longer history than the 9 revolving Sacred Dao Pond. If she addressed Shuriqing as senior, it would indeed lower the Defying Ice Mound's reputation. I was just next door and heard your conversation, so I came in. Both of you are old friends of Dao Lord Ning, and Dao Lord Ning is someone I respect. Please forgive me if I've offended you. Shuriqing cupped her fists towards the void. Lan Shu felt even more excited. Shuriqing's strength clearly surpassed Nalan Rushua's. Most likely, she was one of the strongest people in the Grand Essence realm. Even Shuriqing respected Ningcheng so much, which showed how much Ningcheng had done in the Grand Essence realm. It wasn't difficult to achieve great things, but it was difficult to make other experts respect him from the bottom of their hearts. Nalan Rushua quickly replied, No. I heard you say that you're looking for a place to fuse with the Dao. Shuriqing suddenly changed the topic. Nalan Rushua replied, Yes, I'm indeed looking for a place to fuse with the Dao. It's just that I haven't found a good place, so I'm planning to go to the Grand Simplicity realm first. Shuriqing said with a straight face, I just came back from the heavens beyond of mysterious yellow. I wonder if you've heard of the chaotic inner realm? Nalan Rushua nodded. I've also been to the heavens beyond of mysterious yellow and heard of the chaotic inner realm. I heard that many experts opened the chaotic inner realm tens of thousands of years ago, and many people obtained supreme resources from it. Shuriqing sighed. Back then, I tried to fuse with the chaotic inner realm because of the incomplete laws. Not only did it reduce my strength, but it also made it difficult for me to make any progress. Dao friend Rushua, I suggest you go to the chaotic inner realm and have a look. If you can fuse with the chaotic inner realm, or even reach the 3rd step, I'm afraid your future will be limitless. Nalan Rushua shook her head with some disappointment. With my strength, I'm afraid it's not realistic to go to the chaotic inner realm. Shuriqing showed a faint smile. If it were before, it wouldn't be unrealistic for you to go there. It would be impossible. But now even some primordial Dao cultivators can enter the chaotic void and find the chaotic inner realm, let alone you. After saying that, Shuriqing did not wait for Nalan Rushua to ask. Instead, she continued to explain. The chaotic inner realm was broken. The most primitive chaotic aura dissipated, and the laws of the chaotic void weakened. As a result, under the combined attacks of so many experts, a gap was completely opened up. You mean anyone can enter the chaotic inner realm now? Nalan Rushua's voice trembled. She was too excited. As a primordial chaos expert who had been to the heavens beyond of mysterious yellow, she had naturally heard about the power of Dao validation in the chaotic inner realm. The experts who had reached Dao validation in the chaotic inner realm were all famous big shots. Fate, stars, chaos, karma. These Dao lords could make the vast universe tremble with a casual stomp of their feet. These experts all had one thing in common, which was that they had all reached the 3rd step in the chaotic inner realm. Shuriqing answered with a lonely face, You're right. Everyone can go in now. The reason why she was lonely was that even if she went to the chaotic inner realm, she would not be able to go further. She had not even fused with the pseudo-Tao. Back then, she had already been a powerful existence, but now, she could barely survive in the void. Taoist I Ching, please guide me. I will go to the chaotic inner realm first. Nalan Rushua bowed again. Shi I Ching waved her hand, indicating that Nalan Rushua did not need to be so polite. Then she said, "First of all, I can only tell you that most people enter the chaotic void. I have a locale ball for the chaotic void, but whether you can find the chaotic inner realm depends on your providence. Secondly, even if you find the chaotic inner realm, the current chaotic inner realm cannot be compared to when it was first broken." Immediately, Shi I Ching took out 2 locale balls and quickly made a copy for Nalan Rushua. Taoist Rushua, this is the locale ball to the chaotic void. Given your strength, I'm afraid it will take you tens of thousands of years to reach it. Unless you reach the Tao integration realm halfway. Thank you, Taoist I Ching. Nalan Rushua grabbed the locale ball without hesitation and swept it with her spiritual consciousness. At the same time, she thanked Shi I Ching. After a while, she spoke up again. Taoist I Ching, I want to go to the chaotic void now. I don't care even if it takes me 100,000 years. Nalan Rushua then said to Lan Shu, Elder Sister Shu, I'm going to the chaotic void. Let's meet again in the future. Lan Shu stood up and said, Congratulations on finally realizing your dream and reaching the 3rd step in the chaotic inner realm. Many thanks. Nalan Rushua couldn't stay any longer. She hurriedly said goodbye and disappeared in a flash. Lan Shu then bowed to Shi I Ching. Senior Shi, the chaotic inner realm has so many treasures. Ning Cheng will definitely go there. I don't know if Senior knows if Ning Cheng has gone to the chaotic inner realm, or if you've heard of his whereabouts. Shi I Ching didn't answer Lan Shu directly. Instead, she looked at Nalan Rushua's empty seat and shook her head. You're right. She's not suitable for Ning Cheng. Both you and Yanji are suitable for Ning Cheng. Yanji went to the 9 revolving sacred Tao pond for Ning Cheng and risked her life to cultivate. Alas! Shi I Ching gave out a sigh. Nalan Rushua had obtained the positional ball of the chaotic void and didn't even ask about Ning Cheng's safety or whereabouts. Yet, she kept saying that she liked Ning Cheng. Most likely, she liked Ning Cheng's strength, right? Lan Shu couldn't care less about the loopholes in Shi I Ching's words and asked eagerly, Senior, did Ning Cheng go to the chaotic inner realm? Shi I Ching nodded. He went there. Not only did he go there, but he also suffered serious injuries in the chaotic inner realm. I heard that his injuries were so severe that even an ordinary starry sky cultivator could kill him. Lan Shu's eyes showed anxiety. Unfortunately, she couldn't help even a little bit. Shi I Ching comforted her. You don't have to worry. The moment Ning Cheng suffered serious injuries, he tore open the chaotic inner realm's void and disappeared. There hasn't been any news about him for so many years. Presumably nothing bad happened to him. Senior, can you give me a copy of the positional ball of the chaotic void? Lan Shu held back the anxiety in her heart and spoke with a respectful tone. Shi I Ching shook her head. It's not a big deal to give you the positional ball, but with your strength, I'm afraid that you wouldn't be able to reach the chaotic void even after 10 million years. Lan Shu still spoke with a firm voice. I ask Senior to help me. Without Ning Cheng, Lan Shu would have already died. She would have even suffered humiliation before her death. Not only that, but Ning Cheng also brought back the only relic of Yu Chen for her, the golden buckle. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.